Center?
Yeah.
Oh, Iron Man!
Iron Man's already gone. Alright, Travis, you're gonna have to come a little bit this way, even though you're good over there. Yo, I hate the light on the light keeps changing on the phone. I need to angle that down a little bit.
Here, I'm gonna turn off this light.
Alright, let's see if that changes it. Yeah!
Did it?
Actually.
Stable?
Yeah, that kind of did what it was supposed to do.
Yeah, but it's still not no comparison to the tablet.
It's different things.
Regular, upside down.
It didn't change us. It just, did whatever.
When when you turn it down back there, it stops going like shifting though and trying to figure out what it's doing.
Okay. So, all right. I want to welcome everybody to the South Congress Podcast Fan by Fan Show. Typically, for CW's The Flash. This week we are covering the Arrow versus Crisis on Earth X. I'm Cameron. I'm joined by Travis and our special guest, Dani.
Super special.
If you've been following the podcast for a while, you are going to hear Dani on our Preacher show, as a matter of fact.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. Are we really close to the mic? And is that why they gain so much?
You've made us turn it up a lot.
Yeah. I think that's automatically better. Yeah. That works out a little bit better. Okay. So, yeah. I convinced Dani to drive, out to come kick it with us to do this. We all had to watch a whole bunch of TV to cover this show. So we each watched, technically, episode of Supergirl, episode of Arrow, episode of Flash, and then an episode of Legends. So yeah, we did a little bit of everything. Yeah. I enjoyed the watch, number one. I don't know if we want to get straight into the show. Maybe we want to take a little bit of time. What do you guys want to talk about first? Let me open it up to you, Dani, the guest.
Well, I'd be interested to know, so which of the 4 shows do each of y'all actually watch regularly?
I watch Supergirl and Flash.
Supergirl and Flash. And you've been watching Arrow.
Arrow and Flash.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched Legends since episode 1 of season 2.
Okay.
Or like a few episodes into season 2, and I threw my hands up and was like, they're killed, because I'm a time travel obsessed guy, and they were very good about making things make sense in season 1, and then they were like, season 2, hold my beer.
Right.
Like, we're just going to tell you about, this, we're going to tell you about what rules are, and then openly and brazenly break them.
So you're sitting 2 seats away from a girl literally wearing a Doctor Who shirt?
Okay.
So my threshold for that kind of shit is super high. So that's why you stopped and I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah. I just, because time travel specifically is so near and dear, and I'm obsessed with it, I just couldn't take the just weekly disrespecting it. Like, you have a Civil War battle fought with these guys with powers. Ulysses S. Grant was there, and zombies. And it was oh, no one talked to a paper. There's no
So I feel like Legends is a deep fried Twinkie. You didn't.
Shout out to Pluckers.
Yeah.
Shout out to the State Fair.
Yes, that's where I was going with that. But you don't Legends. It's terrible for you, and you're gonna shit your pants the next day, and you just go into it because it's fun for a short amount of time.
Yeah.
I've never watched Legends and thought deeply about the implications of the plot.
I mean, I did in season 1 at least.
Yeah.
I don't know where Rip is. I look for him and he's not there.
Yeah, Rip, who also was on Doctor Who as a character. See, tie-ins, but it's not the smartest of the 4. I will give you that.
Okay.
I will give you that. But yeah, I'll be interested to, as we kind of talk through it, see what stuff was either confusing or surprising, or how well they weaved it all together where it didn't matter if you're up to date, and in some cases if it did.
I think if you don't watch any of these shows, you could have come in and, for the most part, understood everything that was going on. You might not have understood why does Supergirl have a way to get to that Earth and some little things, but the story that was told is not
Nazis are bad?
Right, yeah, let's punch Nazis because they're going to
Which up until recently was a super uncontroversial position, but
Totally.
We gotta listen to both sides, man. Both teams play hard.
Don't get me started. Let's
not.
So, okay, before we talk Crisis of Earth X, let's talk Avengers trailer. Okay.
Okay.
Travis has seen it. I've watched it for the last couple of days. You saw it for the first time about 10 minutes ago.
That was your first time seeing it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So, just thoughts. Watching it, thoughts on what you've seen. Just go. Like, this is nice. Like, I never have two people, so I'm just kind of mediating. Like, it's less for me, so I'm like, yeah. I just sit in the middle and wear a small shirt. This is great. I love it.
No,
Can you please? I need a new piece of merch from y'all with your face that says "I sit in the middle and wear a small shirt."
Sit in the middle, wear a small shirt. Come in the Redbubble soon. Be ready for that.
That will be my first merch purchase. I promise.
Here we go.
I mean, I own all of it.
I think the trailer was fine. It was more than fine. It was it was everything. You know, got me excited for something that's not going to be around, and until 8 months from now.
Yeah. 6.
What is it? May?
It's May. It's
oh yeah,
crazy.
May,
like it's sooner than I thought.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn, 2018 is 31 days away. 32 days.
Somebody's gonna be 32 in 15 days. Yeah. Not ready.
Let's not talk about birthdays.
Okay.
We just had that discussion off camera.
Yeah, man.
We basically have the same birthday.
So no, take it on all in. Watching it for the first time just now. What are your initial thoughts on what you saw?
I'm really excited. I'm surprised, and I continue to be surprised as somebody who's read the comics at how little they're taking from the comics. Now, which is a good thing because the comics are like. It's drinking from a fire hose. I mean, it's like this world of this people, and it's way, way too much.
You're talking about 50, 60 years of getting them to that one spot.
Absolutely. And the sheer number of different civilizations and just all that shit they have to pack in. So it always makes me laugh. Like, that's my, like, snotty comic book reader perspective where people are like, there's just way too much to pack in. And I'm like, read the book, dude. So there's parts that like part of me is disappointed that things are unfamiliar, and then parts of me are excited about. I was texting you like I am a geek for a crossover. There is that little like inner child of me that just loves being like, oh my god, so and so and so and so. I love them so much and they're together. So I'll always get off on that. Yeah. There wasn't anything surprising in the trailer. I don't know if you want to talk.
I did see you make a face at Black Widow's blonde hair.
I did make a face. I did make a face.
Didn't notice that.
Yeah, I've been a ScarJo fan from way back. You know, there's a list of those women. And she's on that list.
She's on.
Yes.
That's like your husband.
He's aware. That discussion was happening on like date 3. We each have a list.
Okay.
But I'm not into the blonde, but it's cool. It's cool. I'm sure there's a reason. ScarJo is justified.
ScarJo, Scarlett Johansson.
Yes.
Is. Oh, Black Widow.
I'm ironically using the. I'm sorry.
He's back. Just some of the stuff for me. Like I think Wakanda as a backdrop and as a cityscape is always just fascinating. Like, it's gorgeous. Like it's pretty and how that's interpreted on camera. Like you just know for a fact that when Black Widow or when Black Panther comes out in February, they are going to take the same shots and angles and computer screens that they have and put that into the movie. When it looks like they're fighting in Wakanda. Right. You know, so that looks cool. I'm all into, like, even though I want Thor to be pretty, I'm all into Thor, one-eyed, Odin-looking Thor, dirty and dank, and because one of my favorite times in comics, when I finally got some money in my pocket, was Dark Reign. Okay. And was, like, Siege. Like, watching Asgard become a place in, what was it, like, it wasn't Iceland, but watching it become a place on Earth and watching Norman Osborn. The Baltics? Somewhere.
It makes sense to be Iceland over the Baltics.
Yeah, but watching Norman Osborn take the war there, and there's a big fight there. Like, them having some semblance of that after Thor 3, like, I'm really interested in that. Mm-hmm. Like, one of the speculations is that they actually do, like, massacre the Asgardians. I'm like, oh my god, so scary. Exactly, but like watching that play out is interesting. Just knowing, and we talked about it the last day or two, and my Twitter's been going crazy. But I was just like, yo, they've built this up for a decade. They made you care about like Ant-Man. Nobody gives a shit about Ant-Man.
Well, we give a shit about Paul Rudd.
Yes, we do, and it was perfect casting, by the way. Mm-hmm. But for a decade, they built up like. people won't.
Great.
Yeah, they really are.
That level of trust in your audience, though.
Yeah, but people won't accept it. But Iron Man was at best a B-tier superhero.
Yeah. At best.
Yeah, at best. Until Marvel got a hold of it and they perfectly cast Robert Downey Jr.
Agreed.
And all of a sudden Iron Man's that dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it influences the movies they make and the comics they make. Like, they just built up so much clout. And so when they do this Infinity War thing, like, who knows if it's going to be a good movie? It could be a bunch of set pieces and fights, and it's going to perform great. But they made you care about these people so much that even if it's not the best movie in the whole world, I still want to see it. I still need to be a part of it. And
but chances are it's going to be a great movie.
because they've done what? Like, we disagree on the movies that we think are good or bad, but the movies that you think are great, I don't think are bad. I just think they're mid.
It's a
which
gradient.
is fine.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that the worst Marvel movie is still better than the best DC movie, other than Wonder Woman.
Yeah, Wonder Woman's the outlier.
But, I mean, it's...
So, 08 Hulk with Ed Norton?
Nobody really counts Incredible
That
Hulk.
doesn't count as, like,
It's
the MCU.
right at the beginning. It's a part of it, but just barely, because, you know...
Is that the first one Nick Fury showed up in?
That's, yes, at the very tail end, when Stark was like, I'll get him if you want to.
Yeah, so the after-credit scene counts as part of the MCU, and none of the rest of the movie.
And, I mean, they did put Thunderbolt Ross eventually in there, but still,
Even there's a list of how to watch all the Marvel movies.
By the way, and I don't know if he's watching it. I'm him, Michael O'Hara. I told him because I put up the trailer, and I was like, he was like, y'all need to watch them. I said, look, you were going to get the benefit of watching them in chronological order. Like, you get to see it like that, so that you get a different experience from the rest of us, so you can go into the movie with something that we don't have. But
Well, they don't, in that list, that definitive list, they don't want you to watch Hulk. They want you to watch Hulk like third, even though it's the first one.
Because you want to watch Cap first.
Right.
Because it's set back when black people couldn't walk the streets. But yeah, again, great trailer. Right at the end, you get the Guardians, and it's gonna be so much going on. Like, if they told you
look like you get relaxed Thanos, not relaxed, but without a crown or a thing,
which is like, which I really like though.
Really? See, I'm puzzled. It just doesn't match my.
I was like, hey, it's not Frank Castle. It's Daredevil's.
No, it's Kingpin.
It's Kingpin with a purple skin and a weird chin.
Yeah. But no, I like when big bad villain is like, let me take off my house coat. And,
or no, let me take off my suit and put on my house coat.
Exactly. And then I'm going to show you what's really going on. I like that when they do that in video games, like the boss is in the armor, and then you beat him, and then next time you fight him, he's just chilling. He's like in his boxers and his Timbs. It's amazing.
Y'all play weird video games.
Yes. Yes, we do.
So
yeah, but but no, I think it was really fun. Danny, I didn't ask you this. Did you see Justice League?
I did not see Justice League.
So we'll sit on Justice League.
Intentionally.
But we'll, So we'll...
Do you want to fight about Thor then? Is that what we're...
We don't have to fight about Thor. Like, you can say why we disagree, but okay.
I want to know why you thought it was good, because you said it was funny, and then I laughed at you a lot in the conversation stuff.
But no, I think it was... I like the jokes. Like, I like...
Yeah,
what was the joke that made you guffaw?
If you're a bro but not racist, you're hilarious to me.
I think more people.
You know, his best friend's a black guy, pretty much.
Funny and hilarious and all that.
See,
you're like the one person I'm hearing that
I
said...
know.
Let me ask you.
I am the unpopular opinion. I'm so sorry.
What was the reaction in the theater? Were people laughing at the jokes you didn't think were funny?
I have to be real. Yeah. Let me tell you about the theater I saw it in.
It was my home.
No.
And I had a fire stick.
No,
go ahead.
No, we are going to leave the town that I now live in, nameless, that is a suburb of Austin, because my business resides in that town, and I love that town.
Almost Elgin?
That town has a lot of white people, and that town has a lot of white people who have never been to an Alamo Draft House. And so those people...
Oh, they were cutting up.
So let me just tell you, I've never gone to the movies in this town and not had to go, shh.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there...
Eat a chicken cutlet, like...
Oh, no. No, it's not. It's just straight up popcorn, like...
No. Well, what are you going to Alamo Draft House just to go watch a movie?
But you know what? At Alamo Draft House, I can imbibe alcohol and deal with it.
Right, I'm talking about them.
So, Doctor Strange shows up, and I love me some...
And which was a great fit. Because they played on it in Doctor Strange about Thor showing up.
They didn't play on it. They showed the exact same scene, which is why it
Yes.
wasn't that cool of a... It was another one of my issues with the movie. But I love Doctor Strange because I love Benedict. And this guy behind me is going, that's Doctor Strange. That's Doctor Strange.
To his girlfriend?
To his girlfriend.
So he was being mean.
So he was explaining through the whole movie, and like there would be like dumb jokes, admittedly dumb jokes that they would do sometimes, very predictable. You saw it coming, and he's just and I couldn't. It ruined the whole thing. So I think it's probably the
your experience watching it with a jackass.
Probably the most legitimately dumb human being I've ever sat in a movie theater with.
Strong.
And that is saying something. So, I don't know, maybe that's it. It's just like, I was like, well, I find this not funny because you, person I don't like, find it funny.
Right.
It just, I don't know, it kept taking me out of it. But also, like, genuinely, I didn't like what they did with Thor. I thought they tried to make Thor this, like, well, I'm socially awkward, like Jim from The Office, kind of. And that's not who Thor's supposed to be. Focus. Thank you. And, I don't know, they tried to make him Chris Pratt in Guardians, and I didn't feel like it fit with the character. Like, the funny, Thor has always been funny. Like, the funniest scene for me with Thor was when he is drinking coffee for the first time with Natalie Portman. He's like, another! Yeah. And it's funny because he is overly confident. He's like an Arthurian character in modern society, and it's that fish out of water thing. So for him to be like, oh, pretty, you're pretty, and I don't know how to deal with you. Shut up.
Have you looked at Tessa Thompson?
Who?
Have you looked at Tessa Thompson?
Have you looked at Chris Hemsworth?
I mean, okay.
Tens.
He's allowed to like. I mean, but okay. You know what? It's different. Like, okay.
I'm sure you put Chris Hemsworth in a room with any beautiful woman and tell me he feels awkward. No.
But here's the thing, though. Let me say this. Let me say this. So I'm from Southern Maryland, right? Mm-hmm. I left Southern Maryland when I was 8 years old. So I wasn't around women from Southern Maryland. My first time going to Southern Maryland as an adult, I was taken aback by how good looking these women were. Because I spent 2 years in Wyoming, and then puberty in San Antonio, and there are good looking women in San Antonio, but there aren't black women in San Antonio. No, there aren't black women in San Antonio. Not per capita the amount that are in Maryland. Yeah. And this is something that I say, and nobody get mad at me about this, but when you're in a center that's mostly one ethnicity, they take care of themselves different. There's a different pride in appearance. It's just different. So I go to Maryland for the first time as an adult, and the women are amazing. I'm like, oh my God, like, look at her hair, look at her outfit, the way she puts it together is great. So Thor, seeing a Valkyrie for the first time, he's going to be taken aback. It's not like seeing Natalie Portman, who's super attractive. But it ain't like Natalie Portman. He's like, hey, Earth Girl, you're cool. I like your vibe.
But it wasn't just around her. Like, his whole vibe and the whole thing was sort of like,
he was very fish out of water.
He was very, British sense of humor, which is just not how they played that character. That movie felt like a departure for the character that I wasn't expecting, and it just felt like they were like, we're going to make Thor funny this time, guys. It's going to be great.
Right, like the movie can be funny, but he doesn't necessarily.
Right, and they tried to make him, and that's what, I felt like they could have played him, the scenes where they played him off Hulk were great. I felt like the scenes where they used Loki for comedy were great. Mm. The scene where the Hulk bashes Thor around and Loki goes, that's what it feels like! I about pissed my pants.
They played that back.
It was so good.
From the first Avengers. It was amazing.
But the rest of it was just, I don't know, I just didn't deal with the whole,
good.
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum, I love him. And he's done the same, he's been the exact same character since Earth Girls Are Easy.
Yeah.
He's amazing. He's great.
That is a dated-ass reference. There's a lot of people that have no idea what that is.
We've noticed if they...
We're all old in this room.
Yeah,
I don't know what that is. That's what I'm saying.
I just reached for the thing before Jurassic Park that wasn't The Fly.
Yeah, I was thinking The Fly. Yeah, you're good.
But he was falling apart. Other than that, I just liked it. Because I like how it was fun, nonsensical, and bright. I really appreciated that. Mm-hmm. And how he has real responsibility now. Yeah. I do appreciate that.
There were good things about it. I guess my problem was with I thought they overhyped the comedy part. I thought the best parts of that movie were the parts where they weren't trying to be funny.
Let me ask you this. 20 years from now, what are we going to be telling our kids about Carl Urban? Because I think Carl Urban is great and was great again in that movie. I loved him And he did very little.
I'm having a hard time imagining that this planet's going to be around in 20 years, so we're going to have to take a step back and really let me think.
You seen Dredd?
No.
He's Dredd. You seen Chronicles of Riddick?
Unfortunately, yes.
He's the guy beefing with Riddick. But not the king. He's Vago.
Carl Urban?
Carl Urban. He's great in just everything he does, even when he's playing like the subtle character, even when you don't see his face. I love him. He's great. But no, I really liked it, but you and I can do a whole thing about that another time. We're on kind of borrowed time right now.
Well, every time I tried to bring anything up, I wasn't allowed to talk about it.
Yeah. Hey, do me a favor.
Yeah.
Get the fan. It's hot in here. We can do that because we're in a place where we live. Further switch to the right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the wrong one.
That's the furthest one to the right.
The middle one. Bingo. Okay, come down.
I'm going to get a beverage.
Okay.
Talk amongst yourselves.
You can do that. She went off to get a drink.
Yeah,
So,
I did.
you know what's interesting? She went off to get a drink, so I can talk to you for a second. Initial reactions to Crisis on Earth X.
Thumbs way up.
You didn't see Justice League.
I did not.
So you don't have Justice League to compare it to. You do have, I'm trying to think of the last thing you saw that was a big team up. Maybe Avengers 2, but that was still kind of bright. Let's leave other things out of this.
Sure.
As something that included maybe 20 characters that we know about that exist on different planets and different shows with different rules, how do you feel like they did with 4 hours putting, and really what, 44 minutes, 88, 166, something.
Yeah.
What do you feel like they did with the time that they had? Do you feel like it was used effectively?
I do. I think it was incredibly paced. I did not know they were doing 4 hours until, you know.
It was weird because they didn't present it. They kept saying a 2-night event.
Yeah.
2-night event. And 2-night event to me doesn't mean we're adjusting our schedule.
Yeah.
So
because that would have been a mouthful. Two-night event, and we're putting, this show here and this show
but
there.
then you don't say 2-night event. You say Supergirl Arrow Monday, Flash Legends Tuesday, and it's done. But they didn't do that. We had to. Who told us?
Because they don't want.
Carlos
They don't want to be like. They don't want to be like tuned into this 4-hour block. They wanted you to get there and be caught up in it.
Really quick, and I don't think you guys have looked at it. Which show of those 4 do you think did the highest rating?
Flash.
It was Flash. Flash did the highest rating.
And that was in the second episode?
Third episode.
Third, okay.
I think Flash did the highest. Legends did the second. But it ran pretty steady with Supergirl and Arrow.
Right.
People didn't know Arrow was coming on.
Yeah.
Unless you were watching it live. You probably missed it live. But, yeah. I thought the pacing was good. What did you think about them putting 20 characters that you know into 4 hours?
I thought they did it well. I was surprised about how much of the first episode went on before the actual conflict started.
Yeah.
It felt like the last 10 minutes the bad guys showed up. It may have been longer than that, but that's how it felt. It was like the wedding and then like the series of like everybody getting to the wedding and then this and that. So I didn't dislike that because I really like just any interaction between characters I already like. So I still enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But I was surprised, and I thought they did a really good job of, once those guys showed up, they had consistent action but distinct acts. It didn't feel like we're going to stop now because this show's over and now move to this show. They divided it up of like, we're going to have the initial contact and now here's they're in the prison and now here's the prison break and the big battle. I thought they laid it out well.
I thought all the fight scenes, all the big action scenes you got in each episode, so you probably got 4 big fight scenes, were well done and very unique to each episode.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, on the way up here, I was watching the beginning of episode 4, so the beginning of Legends, I guess, and that was a battle I couldn't pay attention to because I was just listening and driving. But it still seemed like it wasn't the church battle. It wasn't the church fight when they interrupted the wedding, which wasn't the next fight that happened. It was. I think the pacing on everything, the fights, all the action we got was. You weren't overwhelmed. Yeah. It wasn't 20 straight minutes of action, but it also wasn't. You didn't get a whole episode of no action. Yeah. It was very well done. Yeah. And each episode, even though it felt like one big episode, each episode still felt like oh, this is still Supergirl.
Right.
This is a Flash episode. This is Arrow. It's all, you know, you can tell the Arrow one and the Legends one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a good job. And they also did a good job, maybe too good of a job, keeping Cisco off the, by episode 3, I was missing Cisco.
I know, me too.
Fam, like, is he still, like, out of it? Like, come on. Like, was this
stuck
just...
him in a cell?
Was this just so they didn't have the redundancy of you know, Felicity when Arrow's guy showed up, freelance?
I was going to say, and I was going to ask you guys, we'll talk about it, but he's the character I would say was underutilized.
Agreed.
But let's kind of get into Cisco. Let's get into that. Who, if you want to pick 2 or 3 characters that you're glad they got shine, and 2 or 3 characters that you wish you got to see a bit more.
But I wish so I was glad to see Adam show up at the end.
Used great.
Used well.
When we get into Easter eggs, we'll talk about how he fit into a whole bunch of things.
Yeah.
But yeah.
My biggest problem with a lot of these shows is I feel like they have some really weak kind of B characters. Like I feel like all of Arrow's team.
I love Team Arrow.
I hate them.
I
hate them so. There's a guy whose whole thing is he shoots guns and wears a hockey mask.
We're not gonna disrespect Wild Dog.
No. Plus, Mr. Fantastic, I love him.
Terrific.
Whatever. See, I don't even know his name because I like him as a person.
He's great.
Once the battle starts, it's like
he's terrible.
First of all, he gave how many of those
credibility.
Nazis did he give hands though?
Okay, let's talk about how his mask is. He paints a T on his face.
Okay. Listen.
The best
if
thing
I
he
painted
did
a
was
T
throw
on my
that
face,
ball
you would still know it was me.
and had Adam.
I would know it was you, but guess what? You know how many black people I've looked like this week? As a black superhero, you got a lot of leeway.
I'm just gonna sit here and be white as shit.
Was that LeBron? Just like, cause you jump high. Just like that. Trevor Noah. No, okay. But you're not a Team Arrow fan. Wow.
I don't like his supporting team.
I'm such a fan of
Are you
him.
behind me on this?
I am, and that's
Is that a high five she waiting for?
No, I'm going right over your head. Just having this conversation right here.
When they showed up, I forget when they showed up during the last crossover. It had to be.
Yeah.
And I assume he's like Puerto Rican or something. He's like the worst angsty, like.
Are you talking about gun guy?
Yeah.
There's reasons.
I'm sure.
There's a whole
But
story reason.
Oh, his daughter who was a shitty dad and it sucks. I don't care.
His wife OD'd.
I don't care. I don't find it compelling.
And he works for the
I was more broken up about Curtis's divorce than I was about that, and he is a shitty superhero. So.
He's a shitty
like they have, you know how I
He
feel
was shitty.
about like Natasha and Clint, and when they are out in the middle of this big alien fight and explosions and stuff, and here they are, these humans that can shoot arrows and shoot
we
guns.
just talked about
I know.
We just talked about Black Widow.
Romanoff's a ninja, essentially.
They're ninjas.
But
they were. I mean, in fairness, who are they fighting?
But
they
at
fight
least
a Nazi army.
No. But
Yeah.
they I can okay, Romanoff, the Red Room, all that stuff. But Mr. Terrific and the guy that shoots the guns and
when they he's gonna
human
fight, he
guys.
worked in IT. What are you doing?
Here's the Terrific spheres. Here's the T-spheres. And he threw the atom on a T-sphere to beat guys. That happened.
Adam got on the thing and he.
Wild Dog has guns. Guns hurt people.
Jesus
What?
Christ.
Okay. Travis.
Overruled. Overruled.
Who did you appreciate?
Look, I
as
just
far
lost
as
the whole second half of my
Yeah,
answer
right.
out of that. It's done.
Who did you appreciate as far as shine that they got during this crossover, and who do you wish they showcased a bit more?
I liked that because, and again, it's my bias of non-powered supers. I really liked Alex's storyline, and I liked her getting some, and
Because you don't watch Supergirl, right?
I don't
Yeah.
personally.
I liked her getting.
But I caught on to what's going on.
Like
Her
her-
whole storyline this season has been one of my favorites. I love Alex.
Like her
She
getting
lost her
some-
quality vagina. I understand.
and
I know how that goes.
just also just her involvement, not in the forefront, but always there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Her
I think
relationship with her sister is done so well in that show.
Which I have seen from the times I have watched it, the first couple of seasons. Like, no, yeah, they have a strong bond.
So I would say Alex and probably Jax. I mean, Jax was great. I think, in this episode. And as far as underappreciated, I don't know if anybody knows, I love Vixen. Like, she just checks off all the boxes. Brown lady, kicking ass, got a really cool gimmick
tight out
behind her. You know.
Pulls out gorillas sometimes.
Awesome.
Pulls out gorillas? Never mind. We're just gonna.
Awesome character, non-hero character as a former supermodel, and now she's like has a talk show and stuff. Like her single issue Rebirth was so good, and when I went back 6 weeks later, like, yeah, can I get issue 2 of that Vixen? I don't see it on the shelves. They were like, oh, that was a one-off. You got to get Justice League, blah blah blah. If you want to follow her, I was like, yeah,
can't do it.
Yeah, that's like you have to buy Spider-Gwen. No. Yeah.
It's a lot of Spider-Gwens at Comic-Con. Pretty good.
Rough.
She's the worst. She almost single-handedly ruined the Champions book, and she was only in it for 2 issues. And I
love that we hate somebody the same
Spider-Gwen eating up the scenery?
She was just worthless.
Yeah,
she added nothing but a bunch of nonsense, slapstick, and flat jokes. Yeah, she's terrible.
So.
But anyway, yeah, Vixen, I wish she got some more shine. And even in a lot of the legends, I like Steel getting in there. I didn't like how he caught Supergirl.
Yeah.
Travis hates superhero physics.
It's the worst.
Yeah. Well,
like,
speaking
let
of
her fall. She would have been fine just hitting the ground.
And he called himself the Man of Steel. I thought that was weird.
If she hits, well, guys, that's the whole.
His name is Steel.
Yeah, I know, but
he should. The line should have been different, not Man of Steel.
Yeah. The line should have exactly. The line he catches Supergirl. The line is
made no difference.
It should have driven him into the ground
because you don't hate nice things. Like the whole point of it was fan service. The entirety of it, because.
But is there really a cadre of fans out there that are like, I certainly hope that this happens?
If you have a television show...
Oh, I can't wait till they get this pun across.
Guys, if you have a television show where Brandon Routh is your Adam, and he makes a reference in the last crossover that she looks like my cousin, and there's a scene in Superman Returns where he does something in space and falls to the earth the same way, just so the shot isn't exactly the same, you have somebody catch her and say he's the Man of Steel. This is like all this build is wasted on you guys. They did all this for that. That's all
I saw
for me.
and liked Man of Steel.
Well, no, not Man of Steel, the movie. That was terrible.
No, Superman 2.
Superman Returns. That was also terrible.
I saw
but it was for that. It was for you. They did it for you, and you're shrugging at them.
And I'm saying no thanks.
Keep it.
It was a really,
appreciate the thought.
It's
I guess.
really that's maybe the coolest thing that they did visually, but we'll talk about that. So okay.
I was about to say if we're riled up, we can keep going because I've got another hate that's gonna make me so upset.
Do it, because
she didn't. Yeah, who was your underappreciated?
Yes.
Oh well, who would?
Or what do you just not like?
Captain Cold needs to go the fuck away and never come back.
Oh my god,
he is the worst.
Why do you hate charisma?
Okay, so let me tell you. Let me do my impression. So, Homeboy gets cast in this role, and he's like, okay, I'm going to play a supervillain. I'm going to look in my mirror, I'm going to get prepared. What am I going to do? I know. I'm going to use a voice out of a 1920. Yeah, I'm a bad guy.
See? But he is a Flash villain.
It doesn't matter.
They're all cornballs, though.
Right, but he's a recurring cornball, and he makes me want to puke up every meal. He's awful.
I love it.
Oh, so...
But no, it's not even the voice. Snark's fine with me. I don't hate. He's fine.
So good
it's the dumb puns that he's.
Yeah.
But that's, again, he's a Flash villain.
Doesn't
he's a
matter.
Flash rogue. It's what they do.
Doesn't matter.
Y'all hate people's
it's
DNA.
So bad.
That's bad.
He's terrible. He's so bad. And like, here's the thing though. Like when you look at Rory, like he's conceptually an equally bad villain. He has no power. He just has a gun. And he makes bad jokes, but his character is funny. He's delivered consistently in a way it doesn't make me embarrassed. Turn that game off.
Oh God, it's really bad.
It's real bad. I don't know. Every time he delivers a line, it just feels so over the top.
Scratching his back with Iron Man.
That's exactly exactly what he's doing. Not all superheroes wear capes. Anyway, I hate Snart, and I'm so... No, I will say, now here's what I will give you. Gay Snart, preferable to straight Snart.
Gay Snart.
I don't know.
But you know what they did, though? They gave him Captain Cold glasses.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. I don't know if maybe I'm the only one thinking this, but I'm not convinced that's not Earth 1 Snart. I don't know what happened on Legends. Maybe that makes that maybe it's not possible.
He's still navigating out there?
Right. I think that's the Snart we've all... No?
I don't think so.
Okay.
He never got to the box in regular times.
He died. Like, he had his redemption arc where he died and for Rory. Like, that's what he did. Mm-hmm. So I think
at the end of season 1, huh?
And I think that what they're going to keep doing is play up the comedy angle of, like I did enjoy some of the things of him and Rory, and he's, like, the softer Snart where he's, like, let it out, big guy, and, like, don't drink away your feelings. Like, that joke is going to start to wear 6 episodes from now, especially when he uses that voice to deliver it. He's a bad guy. I can't.
Oh, my God.
Can't with it. But
guys, we've been talking for a strong 45 minutes, and we have not gotten into the story.
All right, let's get into the story.
So let's talk about it a little bit with notes. So somebody was nice enough to break down these episodes. It wasn't fake.
Yeah.
To break down these episodes, kind of in paragraph form. So let me run through the first one, and we can just talk about it. After we get through the description. In a parallel world, Earth X, a Nazi regime rules the planet, where an archer known as Dark Arrow is the Fuhrer, and personally hunts the resistances. On Earth 1, Barry Allen and Iris West's friends, including Kara Danvers and her sister Alex from Earth 38, come to Central City for their wedding. Harry Wells, Cisco Ramon, and Caitlin Snow develop a serum to separate the Firestorm Matrix from Martin Stein and Jefferson Jackson. However, Jefferson is reluctant to give up being the superhero Firestorm. Oliver Queen re-proposes to Felicity Smoke, but she is not ready to marry. During the wedding ceremony, the event is interrupted by Earth X invaders, led by Dark Arrow and his wife Overgirl. After Kara injured Overgirl during the fight, the Nazis retreat. Alex and Sarah Lance capture Dark Arrow's partner Prometheus of Earth X. Dark Arrow, Oliver's doppelganger, and Overgirl, Kara's doppelganger, unmask themselves as they discuss their next step with the Yellow Speedster, Eobard Thawne / Reverse Flash, Barry's nemesis, who he believed was dead. Mm-hmm. So, where do you guys want to start? You want to start at the wedding?
I do want to say that the worst thing that you can do to a couple at their rehearsal dinner is propose.
Oh, yo.
Really?
Let's talk about budget real quick. They really had the rehearsal dinner at Jitters. Like, budget, man. They spent a lot on special effects.
I actually thought that made a lot of sense.
Well,
you're an adorable apologist.
It does make a lot of sense because it's the only place they show on Flash when they're not at work or at home.
Right.
So, yeah.
They spend so much time there. Let's rent the place out.
See, you're justifying it from the characters, and I'm saying, guys, we have one set. We have to film this scene.
Yeah. And that.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like a stretch to you?
It did not take away. It did not take away.
Y'all don't have a one nice steakhouse in that town? You can... No?
They've been there. He took Patty there to the one nice restaurant they got.
Which was Jitters, and they just took out the coffee bar. You could have taken out the coffee bar and made that set.
Wow.
Tell me that wasn't Jitters in that scene.
Now that you say it, I'm kind of like, it's Jitters, but they shot it up so it looked like it was on a different floor.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Damn, now Miss Patty.
Yeah, Patty's fine. So yeah, I where do you even go from there? To me, of course, the most interesting thing about this whole crossover is Jefferson and Stein. Because I'm, like, we watched Flash, so we caught both of them early on, as far as Jax.
Stein's and Caitlin's interaction, like, that's right. It all comes back.
I forgot that too.
I forgot they were so close, and Ronnie and all that. Like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense.
And Stein is one of those few characters, and I guess it's because he came pre-Legends, who is just so I don't know about to y'all, but he has been so endeared to me.
Yeah.
Like,
he's great.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I did watch the first season of Legends, so I got to see, his, you know, him's basically coming around.
And him dealing with young him.
Yeah.
And then meeting his wife. Like, it was really good stuff.
Screwing that up and having a kid.
Yeah. Yeah, and like him having a daughter, and like that was, I thought they did a really good job with that. Like all of a sudden you have a daughter that you didn't raise, which is the only way to actually have a kid, in my opinion. Because they're already grown and self-sufficient.
Wow.
But they've done all that so well, and they've established his relationship with Jackson. Like, there's not a lot of like super authentic relationships in Legends that you really care about. That is one, and unfortunately, because Firestorm is so overpowered, you are always going to have tragedy in one half of that equation. Like, you have to keep weakening that character. Yeah. And, like, as soon as they started talking about separating, I was like, something awful.
I was thinking, and also because I know he's getting more of a prominent role on the Orville, and that got signed on for...
Which one's on the Orville?
Stein. Yeah, he's like the...
Get money. Get money!
Not the captain,
that
but
meta
the...
shit.
He's the admiral?
He's like... Yeah, like... Seth MacFarlane's the captain on the Orville. He's the one that gives them their, you know.
So the Admiral, if you watch Star Trek. Okay. Just saying. I thought I love their relationship because, you know, from different worlds, but absolutely need each other, and just how he admitted to
and we're
him.
3 years into those characters being on screen, so they've had a lot of history built up, a lot of, you know, it's like the worst time, like when Jack said, "But I'm not ready to let you go." It's like, yeah, man, we just like really started like vibing, and you know, it was such a forced thing, and we couldn't stand each other. We had to like get used to being in each other's heads and feeling each other emotionally. Now, it was super sad, but I'm surprised that there was only one death. Yeah. I cannot believe no one else got majorly injured at least.
Mm-hmm. I was surprised there was a death. It's a CW. They don't kill anybody. Have y'all seen Supernatural?
Yeah, but
holy shit.
Supernatural is on season 13.
Yeah, and no one has died but Bobby. It's crazy.
I don't even know. I assume Bobby's the white one because they're all the white one.
Yeah,
but
you're not wrong.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? That's a really good show for weird reasons. Like that's a good show because it's regular guys fighting monsters, but doing it and being cool in bootcut jeans.
There's a lot of flannel in that show. We could go down that rabbit hole.
That show.
But what the CW, like, they don't really kill anybody. So like,
I just saw a 4-hour big giant event. Somebody had to die. Maybe even 2 people, like lesser characters, but not even. You didn't even get. You got the one semi-major character that.
But Mr. Bra still alive.
He's alive.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Terrific guy running around throwing silver balls.
Y'all hate actual regular people who put their lives on the line.
Yeah.
Go drink a meadow syrup or something.
Why? Why not just have guns and it work?
Because in real life, that's not often how it goes.
What's his name? They came up with a serum for Jax that he's going to be the spectacular.
Well, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Yo, again, one of the things I love most about the Arrowverse is that Marvel Comics exists as comics. Because they reference Incredible Hulk.
Man in the High Castle exists.
Well,
I know.
And I made a very proper joke about that on Twitter when it happened. I was like, hey, that show that my podcast partner says I should watch but is really boring, they made a reference to that too.
I never said it was really boring.
Did you get all the lulls?
I said it was really boring. No, I got them all. It was great. I guffawed. It was amazing. They were like, yeah.
I'm so glad I got you to say guffaw.
Yeah, was it Oliver in the High Castle? Was that the
right
one?
She called him
Oliver. I was like, it's that show I don't like that other guy I hang out with swears is good. Great reference. But yeah. That show, I mean, what would you have said? No, it's good. I would say, no, it's really great and bland.
I would have executed the best GIF reaction.
It would have been, it would have been an alternate Earth I'd never want to go to, that nobody wants to be a part of. But no, but they did pull that off, which just lets you know they know their audience. Like, it's super smart. But no, again, we'll get to that episode. Let's focus on this.
Okay, so if we want to talk about this episode, I did want to touch on one thing.
Wait, before you do, can we talk about King Shark being around and not being dead?
What
and
the
not being
hell? They just
He's fighting King
in.
Shark at the beginning. Like, why is King Shark out of prison or hell? Fine, but you know what? I appreciated what it was because that's what you do in comics. They're fighting random guy before they all get together. Like, that's...
Also,
random guy that you can easily dispatched because that was the whole point. Like they're doing things while also did you RSVP, so it's got to be somebody that you can like fight with one hand while you're like on the phone doing something else.
And believe it or not, I actually thought about you watching that because I actually thought, don't let her stress you. Because they were fighting King Shark while she's like, are we going to the wedding?
Did anybody RSVP?
Man. So, is there anybody who didn't show up to the wedding that you guys were like, where are they?
Diggle.
Which they paid off
at the end. But why wasn't he there? Anyway, I was surprised
he was at PT.
I was surprised at, like, I was watching it with my husband, and I got, like, choked up, like, with Barry and Iris, like, and we haven't even talked, I think the whole Barry and Iris thing is really creepy, because y'all were straight up raised as siblings, and anytime Joe was like, when I was raising you two, and now you're getting married.
He does say that a lot, my 2 kids are getting married.
It's so weird. Like, when they went to therapy together, and I was like, y'all aren't going to discuss the sibling thing? That's not what we're here to talk about? That's cool.
I mean,
literally raised as siblings since the age of, like, 5.
No, it was like at the age of 9.
But out of that's not a difference. But out of necessity, out of and listen, it's not like
so
Barry.
Creepy.
And listen, if in fairness, Barry didn't touch her until they were super grown.
Oh God, that was the worst justification
They were super grown.
There's nothing creepy. They're not even close
to
being
related. Is it creepy?
Yeah, but what if you married your adopted sister? Isn't that still weird because you were raised as siblings?
Yes, it's.
Thank you.
No. I'm saying yes because you are my sister. We are adopting my parents. You are now my parents' daughter.
So because they didn't file the legal paperwork to adopt little Barry?
Yes.
I'm gonna say yes.
Oh, you guys.
And even if they did, again, they're
Because I've seen their relationship play out, it's not weird to me.
It's weird. Anyway, regardless of Joe's creepy, my 2 kids are getting married speech. Yeah. I did really like the wedding scene. I know you have the little Easter egg reference in there that I want to talk about the little girl, but
and if I didn't hear or see that somewhere on Twitter or something, I would have completely been lost.
Really, I was screaming
I was like,
on my couch.
Look how I was like they casted her so well.
You know who she is?
I do not.
You don't? You're a Smallville guy. You don't know who that is? Plastique on Smallville.
Huh. How about that?
That's a pull, right? Yeah.
Wow.
I never watched Smallville. I don't know that.
So it was fun. But she played, Plastique is in the from Superman Adventures. Yeah, that's who she was. But I don't know, like
that's gotta
what
be
they
their
told
daughter.
her to do. Yeah, or granddaughter maybe, but yeah.
That's weird though. The fact that you're like. They didn't explain how she got there or anything.
I'm so glad they didn't though. Like they trusted the audience just to be like, figure it out.
Yeah.
Also, she put herself in some serious danger.
Yeah.
Time cop danger?
Like, what if she dies in that attack? Like,
she knows the attack's coming.
Yeah, that's true.
Why would she go then? And also, what do you mean? Remember to say I do. You know they're not going to get to that part.
That's a good point. I mean, maybe she's.
If she knows, again, I'm going by the assumption she did not know what was going to happen. But then you go, well, how?
Yeah.
If she's from the future, and I'm like, you all giddy and stuff to meet your dad. You couldn't. I was going to say do a Terminator line, but we got a Terminator line. Come with me if you want to live.
God, I love Cisco.
But she should have given them some kind of something.
Don't let me make you miss your point.
I have no idea what it was. Oh, it was just. I was surprised that I got a little choked up during the wedding scene, and my husband was sitting there like, "You are."
What the vows part?
Yeah, like just seeing them and like I know you guys always talk about Iris being super tight. I think she's.
Shout out to my man Chris Little because he knows what time it is, and he lives he's back and forth between Dallas. He's like, I just gotta find her, man. I just gotta find her.
She's gorgeous.
She really is.
And also, I don't know, just they do. Although I like to often joke about the creep factor with those two, they have chemistry for fucking days.
They really do.
I mean, they're so good together. So I don't know. I got a little choked up when she looked so pretty in her dress and all that, and so I wasn't sure if other fans, especially like dudes, would be like, Jesus, can we get to what's going on? But I thought they did a really good job with that.
one thing that she told me before we started recording, so her husband doesn't watch regularly.
Okay.
And so he's like...
He noped out on all of these. He noped out on Flash this season. He has liked Flash. He noped out on Arrow 2 seasons ago. He noped out on Legends last season.
Through 3 seasons of Flash, you didn't go, nah.
He doesn't like the lighter tone in this season. He doesn't like what they've done this season.
And it's funny, Travis didn't realize it was lighter tones, and I told him, I was like, yo, they specifically
No,
lighter tones.
No, I did. I was like, this is, like, especially in those first 2 episodes.
Yeah, Trent doesn't like this, he thinks it's cheesy.
It's been a lot better, and it's been a lot more proper, I think. Like, the lighthearted stuff is placed better than it was in those first 2 episodes. I thought it was so forced, and I was like, something's different with this. Like, why is it so, like, ha-ha? And then he's like, yeah, they went to they wanted him, because season 3 apparently just was so dour and stuff.
Really
like,
was.
Trent likes to watch his superhero shows like they're fucking Rambo. Like, he's like, I don't care about the relationships. Alex has been crying over her breakup for entirely too long. This is stupid.
It happened like 2 weeks ago.
He wants villains and PTSD.
Seriously, that's all he cares about. So yeah, I'm like, oh, this wedding's
And
so
trickle
beautiful.
down economics.
Hey, I did not marry a Republican. Are you kidding me?
That's Rambo. Yeah, he was on the street. They didn't want him there.
They called me a baby killer.
But no, so
shit.
To me, the coolest thing about that whole wedding scene is in however many seasons, that's the coolest use of Wally they've ever done.
Agreed.
Wally caught a bullet
with that haircut.
Yeah.
He didn't just catch a bullet.
He threw it back in the barrel, yo.
In the gun.
I'm talking the style and grace he did it with.
Yo, Blue
I
Valley.
mean, he was like...
Yo, we all
and
might...
then he was like,
back.
I'm going to Mexico City.
Who's the,
we might
who's
need
the
to go to Blue
Brazilian
Valley, dog.
from like the Tekken
Eddie
or whatever?
Gordo?
Yeah, he was on some Eddie Gordo.
He hit the Only the Song movie.
And
That was
then,
dope.
and then flicked it back, not just flicking it back to hit the guy, but to go into the barrel, explode the gun.
Wally with the wrist action.
Guys,
Tremendous.
okay, so you talk about the wedding vows, and then of course, the priest is instantly vaporized.
Yep.
Who was the priest, guys?
Tell us, Cam, who was it?
Who was the priest, guys? Who could it be?
Is this where we have to figure it out while you go to get a drink?
Well, that was
Believe it or not, it's just
That was
me.
George?
It was the greatest American hero.
Oh.
I have no idea what that is.
Guys!
So it's George.
No, that show, The Greatest American Hero, with the corny superhero with the suit, that's who they vaporized. I hate you guys. Say more, and I'm gonna say less, and get a drink.
Yeah, I don't, yeah. That was awesome because you knew, I mean, every time there's a wedding, they're going to do the, you know, who wants to stop this thing.
Yeah.
And then
No, and it went just long enough to where I was like, yo, they're actually just gonna let them get married. But I saw the previews.
Okay. Yeah.
So, let's take we talked about the rehearsal dinner thing. We did not talk about Alex and White Canary hooking up.
Yeah.
Box talk.
Oh my god.
Can that be the name of my segment on your show?
You probably don't want that.
No, that was good. That was like when what's her face? Lance, she goes, you know, oh, what did he do? Did he cheat? And she's like, no, she.
And I was
You saw her eyes light up, yo. She was like, nah, I got her.
I was on my couch like, yes! Although, I do want to put this out there. Does anyone find it problematic that the two most, like, badass, non-powered women in this universe just have to be lesbians? Anyone find... Like, does that feel a little, like, tropey?
They're both bi. Or Lance definitely is. She even said it in this episode. Or
That's
in
true.
this event.
I think Alex has decided she's gay. Like, I don't think she's bisexual. I think she, like, was figuring out that she is gay.
Yeah.
So maybe, I guess that's a little different.
But either way, I mean, it's the point still.
I took a pause there where I was like, I think this is awesome.
In fairness, Lila's not gay. And I would say Lila's the most badass woman in the whole...
Isn't that Diggle's wife?
Yes. I would say she's the most badass,
She don't
non-powered
want the
woman.
suburban mom haircut?
Yes.
Like I thought she was a politician or
She's
something.
the head of Argus. I would
Right,
say she's the most badass. But your point stands.
I would put an assassin from...
Wait, I'm like,
Instead of
I don't
Ra's
watch
al Ghul
Arrow,
on
but I'm
Iron.
in the
You
stuff
pay
I...
bills? And you pay him to an assassin.
Look, I haven't seen. I don't watch
I don't understand.
Arrow.
I'm just saying.
I don't watch
she's
Arrow.
the most badass, but your point stands.
But how? Does she fight? I've
Well,
never.
she got to.
Yeah, because in all the stuff I've seen, I've never seen her fight.
Yeah.
I've
She never-
seen
she never
Sarah
did that.
Lance, and I've seen Alex Danvers
No,
fight.
Lila, she done
a
squared
million
up.
times.
She done been out of.
She can't beat neither one
I
of
think
them.
Lila is a badass in the way that like a female CEO is a badass.
But
like,
no, the fact that the most physically able.
yes.
Yes.
It felt a little bit like, hey, look at these butch women. They both like to eat pussy. It just felt a little.
No, there is something to that. Like why? Yeah, yeah. No,
But again, like I said before we went on, the Arrowverse exists.
And why is it the Arrowverse?
Because it was the first show.
Yeah, it was.
The Arrowverse exists because. Why are you mad? Why are you mad?
Lip is curled all the way.
Why
up.
is it called DC Comics? Detective Comics? Like.
Oh, no. Shh, don't say Batman. Don't say Batman.
I'm just saying, like, it's okay to be first. And when you're the first, it's like when you play football and your coaches were. Your coaches were pieces of garbage, they would say, you have to be first in the race because you don't want sloppy seconds. It matters a little bit. So it's the Arrowverse because that's what established the universe.
So episode 2?
Right? No, we haven't finished episode 1.
Oh,
Let's
shit.
be fair. Did you guys talk about Felicity saying, no, I don't want to marry you because I don't believe in marriage?
That was rough.
I don't have a problem with that, though.
It was rough.
It was rough for him, but I don't
have to be like loud with it. So
You don't propose to a woman like that.
That's
You-
also
And you established that. You don't propose to a woman at somebody else's celebration.
Hell no. That's like proposing at somebody else's wedding. Like, that's their thunder. That is their week, their weekend. You don't do that.
Well, but the thing was, he didn't make a big thing of it.
If you ask a woman to marry you, it doesn't matter if you whisper it, you're standing, you're sitting. That is a big thing.
Hey,
No. I mean, as far as taking away somebody else's stunt from their event.
It doesn't matter if he says that's what it is. You can't even have that conversation at that time.
Because at that point, like, I remember as the only married human in this room, my proposal was very subtle. My husband and I were at a nice dinner. He did not get down on one knee. He was sitting there and was like, "Hey, we don't do gifts for anniversaries."
He didn't take his one Jordan off?
Yes, that's it. You obviously know him so well. But no, he pulled it out and, said he couldn't even get the words out, first of all, because he was nervous. And he was like, do you want to spend the rest of your life with me? I said yes. I thought we were super subtle. Like, we were just sitting there and I was like, holy shit. And then the whole restaurant clapped. And I was like, fuck me. We were in a booth. Like, I thought no one saw. Like, we weren't even trying to make it a thing. So thinking that, when something like that is going down, think about being at a party and seeing a couple start to fight.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, oh, like, you see that. And so it's impossible for something that big to go down, even if it's whispered, even if it's not a big deal, and you're not stealing somebody's thunder in some, I don't know. That's just some hater shit. Don't do it.
I think he was caught up in it. Albert wasn't trying to be a hater.
Yeah, he was caught up in the moment. He was doing man stuff.
Whatever.
So
let Barry have his moment. Let little Barry have
it
his
was a
moment.
we danced around it, but
and it was at Jitters. Like you said.
Oh, now you're shitting on me, Jitters. I see how it is.
So
it suits
no.
my purpose, yes.
Yeah. The priest from Greatest American Hero, which you guys don't know about, says, I'm going to pull up a picture after you guys are jerks, says, if anybody has a problem with this, speak now, forever hold your peace. And he's instantly vaporized.
By Nazis.
By Nazis! Nazis with guns from today. And who pulls up?
Overgirl was the one that he visioned him, and that's how he vaporized.
And he's out of there. And it's Overgirl and Dark Archer.
The
And
Fuhrer.
all black. And
and Prometheus was it.
Let's talk about the best way, when you're on a shoestring budget, the best way to have doppelgangers is to put them in masks.
Yes.
It just was perfect.
You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Weird.
You have somebody of a
back
similar
in.
build
Yeah.
who can fight.
Yeah, this wasn't orphan black, guys.
I think the reveal, not to the audience, the reveal to the audience was done fine. He kind of figured it out the way she's
The
hovering.
hair? Are you kidding me? Kara's hair is
But
very distinctive.
and it's not
bounce.
and we don't get this until like episode 2 or maybe even 3. But the reveal to Oliver and Flash, and it was so like in episode 1, Oliver's like, that guy knew all my moves and blah blah blah, and like Kara didn't go. Yeah, there's a flying woman about 115 pounds across with the blonde same like, oh, she's got a mask on, so like nobody like. You guys are idiots to be so shocked when they finally took their masks off. Like, it is us. We are you.
Yeah.
I was like, y'all, why are y'all so surprised?
I also love how evil Kara is the one with, like, dark lipstick.
She had an Emma thing going.
Yeah.
I just thought that was really funny. Like, well, I have pink lipstick. I'm the good super.
Yeah. I also wondered, they did a good job paying this off, without drawing a ton of attention to it. When she went down so easily the first few times her and Supergirl fought.
I didn't see that coming.
I was like, I know they established in Supergirl that Supergirl is stronger than Superman.
Right.
They've established that in the
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because even in the comics, she's had her powers longer and has been training with them.
No,
so,
by the time she showed up on Earth, Superman was already Superman.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just being more familiar. I think I'm thinking of Smallville is what I'm talking about.
Are we emoji?
No, we're still going.
But and then you find out, oh, she's dying. And, you know.
Is it wrong?
She was actually a little stronger than as for a dying person, you're kicking some ass.
And she was a general and all that.
Yeah. And I didn't understand.
And we'll talk about that too.
Why she was the general and he was the Fuhrer.
Patriarchy.
Yeah, they're Nazis. they're still Nazis.
But she said meritocracy, not a matriarch.
Yeah, meritocracy. Yeah,
it's credit is.
Yeah, essentially, if you're at the top, then clearly you must be smarter.
Right.
Just like in America. I mean, if you're a billionaire, it must be that.
You must have earned it.
Yeah, you earned it, clearly.
Like in a society according way.
Wow.
I will say though, those Nazi evil versions of the uniforms I thought were awesome. Like the evil Kara's uniform.
Yeah.
I thought that was.
I like that they went with the SS over the swastika.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear that quote taken out of context.
I mean, even though they had the swastika still, around.
Yeah.
No, it was on the big.
On the banners.
And flags and stuff, but on their arms they had the double light.
And even on like the emblems on their chest.
Oh, we cannot forget about the Guardian. Wasn't he in episode 1?
Because that was not Jimmy, but other guy.
It was.
It was Jimmy also. Yeah. Guardian was there.
Oh, was he there? I totally missed that.
In the beginning, the Resistance and Oliver Dark Arrow.
That was Jimmy Olsen?
Mm-hmm.
That when they got killed?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because he kicked his
I thought it
mask
was
off.
Trevor Noah.
Oh my God, Danny.
Good callback. Wow. Anybody on Facebook who's just now joining us.
That was a terrible moment to tune in.
Yeah, right? This is South by South. Not the South by Southwest.
This is South Congress.
I'm blaming the Deep Eddie. South Congress podcast, fan by fan show, normally 4CW's The Flash, talking about Crisis on Earth X, the CW crossover, starting with Supergirl, then Arrow, then Flash, then Legends of Tomorrow. I'm Cameron, joined by Travis as always, along with Danny.
Hey.
So yeah, we're just going to keep this going. The first half of this was, I say first half, first quarter was on Instagram Live. We'll see how far we get. We're almost through episode 1, just about. So basically, whenever they do stuff like this with doppelgangers, you wonder how one's going to get an upper hand on the other. Mm-hmm. They actually had, we have a weakened Overgirl. So Supergirl bests her at that moment. They have to retreat. And then they end up capturing Prometheus from Earth X. Mm-hmm. Now, me and my man, Jeff Abbas, my man, when we were talking about who Prometheus is during that season of Arrow, we were like, yo, it's going to be Tommy. It's going to be Tommy.
I thought it was Tommy, too.
I'm going to lose my mind. It's going to be Tommy. Wasn't Tommy. It's random drug kingpin's kid who was crazy and didn't get enough love. Yeah. Which played out great still. But they knew that we were expecting Tommy.
Yeah.
They made it Tommy.
Yeah.
And they capture him. And And plus, don't let me forget, we find out that who's the science guy behind this mission? Eobard Thawne, the first Flash. And again, we we talked about this. Tom Cavanaugh is just...
Oh, he's so good.
He's a gem.
He's so
like,
good.
He's played so many characters so well.
But why? I don't understand why. And they made it... They in the storyline, he said... He kind of like... It's almost because he's a sinister, bad guy. Like, I'm going to put this face on again. Oh, and he's handsome. That was another. Mm-hmm. But because Thawne, no Tom Cavanaugh face, was a big part of Legends. I didn't see it, but I know he was a major part of season 2 of Legends. And on there in his yellow outfit. So I was like, why didn't they just bring...
Because he
Thawne?
hates Flash.
Right.
It's going to put on that
and
face.
he wanted to just stick it to him a little extra.
Yeah. Exactly.
And again, like you said, handsome.
And we'll talk about it. The one thing I didn't really like about this, the big thing, is the thing you watched right there at the end and had a big comment on. When him and Flash get together, and Flash's decision on what to do with him upset me as well. But we'll talk about it. Okay, so enough of that. Episode 2, now that we're there. Okay, in Star Labs, Prometheus of Earth X, Tommy Merlin's doppelganger, commits suicide by cyanide pill out of loyalty to the Nazi regime.
Can we talk about how weird it was when they were taking him to the cell? How they just let him keep his mask and stuff on.
I was thinking the same thing.
Like before the door closed, snatch his mask off and show we have to wait till he gives us the reveal. It was so weird. Like
you hate television?
Who gets to go to jail with a mask on?
Does it have the same effect if they take his mask off and walk him down the hall?
I was like, did they even frisk him? He's wearing this leather with all these pockets.
As they shoved him in, they take the mask off, they shove him, and he turns around and oh shit, it's Tommy.
Right. True.
See how easy that was? That problem I just solved.
He would have never said that. You're right, though.
Okay. I like it when you tell me I'm right. Let's keep going.
Transitive properties, I'm right as well.
All right. Harry reveals that through his exploration of the multiverse, he discovered Earth X is a dystopian world where World War II is not won by the Allied forces. Dark Arrow, Overgirl, and Thawne steal a power source known as the Prism from a research company. And that research company is, I forget the name, but that was also an Easter egg. We might have to get back and talk about that. Oliver's team, along with Harry, Caitlin, Cisco, and McRory, are in captivity at Star Labs after Nazi forces infiltrated. Oliver Berry, Sarah Martin Jefferson, and Alex are transported to a concentration camp on Earth X, while Kara is moved to Star Labs. Overgirl is dying from too much solar radiation in her heart, and Dark Arrow plans to use a prism to create artificial red sunlight that can weaken Kara's invulnerability, allowing a heart transplant from Kara to Overgirl.
Yeah, and then this is when you get the... this is like, oh, so this isn't about... only about taking over this earth and doing Nazi domination.
I say my wife, dog.
This was first and foremost about getting a heart for Overgirl and them knowing, because they never distinctly said specifically, we know you're from a different Earth. They just said, you guys let 2 Earths go to waste or whatever.
Right.
And we've been watching you and stuff. So they've been watching her on her Earth.
Can we talk about how evil Thawne is really quick?
Sure.
To where they didn't decide to go to Earth 38 with all their forces and all their might to take Supergirl. They decided to wait till till Barry and Iris were getting married.
Yeah.
To jump into their wedding.
Because fuck them in particular.
Them, specifically. I don't want you to be happy.
I know. So, I have a question. Was it the end of episode 1 or in episode 2 that we find out that bad Oliver and bad Kara are married? Because that was a trip for me.
Yeah. I don't remember specifically, but...
It was one of the two, but it's like we talked about their hierarchy even in the military. Like, as strong as she is... Her best option is the strongest man with no metagene.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
but
he's
Richard, you know what's crazy though? Even though they're both terrible people who hate weak people and anybody who's not probably white and blonde hair and blue eyed, they genuinely seem to love each other.
Yeah.
And they never deviate from that.
To the point where later Thawne actually worries, like, where's your loyalty to each other?
Thawne knew the deal.
Yeah.
Thawne was like, look, the first goal is to take over this damn Earth. Yeah. You guys' first goal clearly is to get a heart.
Right.
And didn't come all this way for you guys' personal goals, and he's like, basically, who this is? Like, he wasn't showing the proper reverence to Overgirl like in those moments, and they had their little scuffle, and Supergirl had to kind of come in and keep them from getting in each other's asses,
like women always have to do.
Really quick before
Dark Arrow
we get into the specifics of the show, if there's ever a comic I can recommend to anybody, or an animated movie I can recommend to anybody, it's All-Star Superman. Because this show is specifically drawn from that. Oh. Basically, Superman absorbed too much solar radiation, and he's going to die. And so, All-Star Superman is about...
They never explained how. She said Icarus, I flew too close to the sun. Was that like a literal thing?
No, that's what it was. It was, I've absorbed too much solar radiation.
But just living on Earth, or did you literally get too close to
being around a yellow sun that long, even though it empowers me.
My guess was
it's crack.
To be a badass...
strong off crack.
And to be a badass Nazi, she was like, well, I need more power, I need more power, I need more
She
power.
probably did
that
abuse
was my
it, as opposed to just living. Yeah. But no, All-Star Superman is basically
just
about
going
that.
Right to the sun,
and because he's absorbed so much, like he does all these incredible feats there at the end. But it's a great arc to read. Like, it's a great series to read, a great movie to watch. And this is from somebody who thinks Superman as a character is super boring. I do. I think he's ridiculous. He can do everything, so why do I care about what happens to him? But no, All-Star Superman is a great read and a great movie. So if you like Crisis on Earth X and are looking for a comic to read or a movie to watch, All-Star Superman is it. But let's get back into this. So yeah, what did you guys think here about Episode 2? Like, Episode 2 is where they establish the dire straits.
Right.
Where they establish the real issue that's going on. Like, they basically captured everybody that we care about immediately.
This was the darkest episode. Like, it was Act 2 of the 4-act, so it's like, pour on the heat, give the bad guys are getting over, they're doing all their stuff, and it made sense because wasn't Episode 2 the Arrow episode?
Episode 2 is the Arrow
episode.
Yeah,
and
that's where you get dark.
Arrow is the dark episode where, people die and things are dying.
Tommy committed suicide in the first 5 minutes of the show.
That's true.
After him and Oliver had that heart-to-heart about you not being here.
I will say, though, I was glad they didn't go too far down the rabbit hole with the Tommy thing, because sometimes when you do this, like, multiple Earth thing, I get annoyed by the, like, you look just like so-and-so. No. Can't. Anyway, so, but, like, it's like, because I find myself yelling at the TV, like, that's not Tommy, or that's not so-and-so.
So when he looked up and had the sinister, you're weak and pathetic, you were like, oh, good.
Well, and also, too, when Oliver wasn't like, you look, like, he was like, you look just like Tommy, and then afterwards he talked to Felicity, and he was like, that wasn't Tommy. And that was it. He didn't cry. Like,
that was a wrap.
It was over, and I was like, thank God, because I feel like that's a trope that's a little too overplayed. They're like, you look just like like,
yeah, but he's a Nazi. He's not him. Shut up. Get over it.
Yeah, exactly. So
there are
they did a
53
good job.
Tommies out there, like,
right.
Right.
Yeah. You sound like Rick.
He doesn't watch Rick and Morty.
Oh. I don't think that's such a good idea. Right?
It's a good show. If it was his idea, he'd watch it.
I'm aware. It's a good show.
It's a good show. A few other things from that episode. The prism as the red solar energy. I always like red sunlight, like just as a trope in Superman comics.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they did a good job of that as this series went on, about that red energy, like kind of being consistent, and the red energy, being enough to kind of stabilize Kara as a regular person and weakening her enough. Like I thought they did.
Did you read Red Sun?
I think I told you about Red Sun. As a matter of fact,
probably originally years back.
No,
probably.
It's a great read.
They had that was one of the ways they kept they had Superman. I think alternative Batman.
You don't like Batman in the Funny New York hat? Remember the Batman that was in Red Sun, like Russian Batman.
Oh, I was about to say, didn't he have like a furry?
Like I said, the funny New York hat.
Furry ear joint.
Yes.
You know, the comrade hat. But no, they had him in some kind of room that just saturated him with.
But you never watched the Flashpoint movie, did you?
Flashpoint movie. Oh, the animated joint.
No, where they had Superman instead of Superman landing right in Kansas.
I did see Flashpoint.
So yeah, instead of him landing right in Kansas where he can absorb all that great sunlight, remember, whoever got him had him underground and he was skinny Superman. Yeah, so
it was all creepy and weird.
Same thing there. Even though he's still super strong, like it's that deviation.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I actually thought this was the weakest of the four, though. Like, I felt like this was getting your set pieces into place. And then the next one, like, you want to talk about dark, let's have our hero show up in a fucking concentration camp.
I love
the straight up star. Jesus.
The pink upside down triangle for homosexuals. It was my idea of how they were going to get out of this.
I missed that.
It was completely.
Oh yeah.
You missed what?
I missed that symbolism.
The pink thing?
And
the star?
So Nazis
Felicity Smoke had the star.
Right.
The star on it.
But you're saying for homosexuals specifically.
Nazis actually did that. They had an upside down pink triangle.
Yeah. So that's historic.
Historic. And then so in the camp, they ran into a guy and he was like, well, what's that mean?
And it ended up being
right. I did see that.
Yeah.
And he's
real.
And he said, he was like, no, I love the wrong person.
Yeah.
So I did catch. I knew what he meant by that, but I didn't see
the actual logo.
That's amazing. So we'll talk about the raid as that goes.
I actually thought the way they were going to get out was Jax was going to
do like he did the slaves.
Oh, I have no. I thought he was going to have that yellow serum because Stein in episode 1 was like, hey, I have the serum. And he's like, I thought it was the blue serum was what they created. He's like, yeah, but I came up with this. You'll be able to keep, you'll be able to still have powers and stay on the Wave Rider. Because he saw his face when, he realized, Stein realized Jax was a little disappointed. And he's like, yeah, your DNA, the way it'll rewrite your DNA is you'll be super adhesive. You'll have spider stuff. And he's like, oh, I'll be able to sling webs and spidey senses. He's like, no, you can adhere to things like glue. So I thought,
just sticky.
Like I literally thought he was going to go, okay, I gotta drink that, but somehow it's going to quickly metabolize, and he would in 20 minutes turn into.
Did you get mad when they said, so like a spider can shoot webs, and you were like, Spider-Man made his own webs?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was cool.
That was just me?
Cool. I was cool.
The idea of Spider-Man making his own webs
the moment
is stupid. Spider-Man making his own webs is dumb.
Out his body or
no?
That's canon.
Through science. I don't care.
Why
it's
is it
dumb.
Why is it dumb?
Spiders shoot webs out of their ass.
Why is it dumb?
What? So you think Spider-Man should
tell me why it's dumb.
Better than him going.
Tell me
why it's dumb.
It's
Tony Stark got a whole suit.
Tony Stark isn't infused with the properties of iron. He's not Iron Man on a genetic level.
So you're mad that his body doesn't produce a brand new fluid, but he's smart enough to say, I can make something that resembles the rest of my powers.
Wait, because
he's also a genius.
I want to see Trav's Spider-Man movie. I want Trav.
Yeah.
The one with Tobey Maguire when it was in his wrist, when it naturally came out of his body.
No, but we were just saying the spiders shoot it out their ass. So I want to see your Spider-Man movie where Spider-Man is running up on a bad guy and then it's like, whip.
Toilet paper Spider-Man. So you prefer the thing that they did after 60 years of Spider-Man when they said, okay, now his webs are organic? I mean, Peter Parker's also a genius, so he can make stuff.
Spiders make their own.
So, okay, so a spider bit me, but I can't do everything a spider does. I didn't grow
8 eyes.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't grow extra eyes.
If he was like, look, if he was
real,
look, if Peter Parker and one of the later Spider-Men were like Spider-Man.
He had a strong eye on that.
If he went,
Spider-Man.
Look, if he was like, look, guys, and parted his hair, and it was like eyeballs all over his shit, I'd be like,
I'm so mad.
Here we go, Spider-Man.
Travis was Spider-Man where he literally grows 8 legs. It was like, just like a horrible horror film.
Yeah.
No. This was an excellent deviation. What the fuck were we talking about?
In the concentration camp,
Oh, let's get back to the cheery subject of the concentration camp.
Yeah.
No, so I mean, you know they're not gonna die because you know there's 2 more episodes. But boy, did they play it close.
Man, and you want to talk about dark? Like seriously, putting our heroes in a fucking concentration camp.
Where they don't have powers in collars, where they can just die.
And they learned their lesson quick when they tried to get the signal and formulate a young attack.
And he hit that zap button. No, that's what I was saying before we got off track. Quentin Lance might be my favorite Arrowverse character.
He's a good
He's
character.
amazing.
He makes a great Nazi too.
That was
the dad from Arrow, who was police chief, who came around on vigilante crime, who lost a daughter and then got her back.
Dad.
Yeah, lost a daughter, got her back, lost another daughter for real, and has to look at her evil doppelganger and can't pull the trigger on her. Like, Quentin Lance is amazing.
Yeah.
Who dated Felicity's mom for a minute, couldn't work out.
Did.
Yeah, he's
fighting his sobriety. Very layered character.
Had all that girly hair and then had to lose it to typecasting. He's amazing. I love Quentin Lance. He's great. And so to have him, who is, I mean, if anybody's all accepting and has to be in that universe of vigilantes and technology and magic and the law, like, it's him. Like, he's the Jim Gordon who isn't homicidal, like in Gotham. But I love Gotham because it's not.
We can't fight anymore tonight. We can't fight anymore.
But listen, though, really quick, I love Gotham because it decided I'm not going to be anything like what I'm supposed to be. I'm going to be ridiculous.
It's like I could be good, but instead I will be bad.
I'm going to just I'm going to prostitute myself out. But listen, Quentin Lance, of anybody deciding to be. Say it. I can't say it because I don't speak German. What's the name of the top guy? The guy I like on Man in the High Castle.
Der Duschenbagen?
Obergruppenführer.
Yeah. My man.
Ober what?
Obergruppenführer.
He's one of the 2 interesting people on the whole show. But anyway, that's basically who Quentin Lance is.
Obergruppenführer.
Yeah.
Obergruppenführer.
So that's like Jeff Sessions level?
He got political, but no.
I'm sorry.
He's great. And specifically here, as being like the head of the Nazi regime. And
his performance was great.
They thought they were going to escape, and then he hit the Bluetooth button on them and zapped everybody. It was great.
Even Ray, who wasn't even I don't know.
He was just getting the cut.
I don't even know if he was in on their little head nod thing.
Yeah.
It's like that movie. There's a movie where they were in a prison. Bring up Rutger Hauer again. I think Rutger Hauer was in it, early 90s, so of course. But in the prison, you had these collars, and you were linked to another person, and you didn't know who.
Oh.
And it's an open prison. Like, there are no fences and stuff. There's literally, if you cross a certain threshold, beep, 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 beep.
I mean, y'all both know.
Yep, you in there. Yeah, so that's to deter,
Right. That's why I'm cool with everybody in my jail. Okay, so in the concentration camp, heroes are rescued from execution at the hands of Quentin Lance's Earth X counterpart by Ray Terrell and Leo, Leonard Snart's Earth X doppelganger. Thawne prepares to operate on both Overgirl and Kara, and Iris and Felicity work to rescue their friends at Star Labs, leading the latter to confront Dark Arrow. General Windshot, a doppelganger of Windshot from Earth 38, who is leader of Earth X's freedom fighters, is determined to strand Arrow and Overgirl on Earth 1 by destroying the Nazis' temporal gateway. While posing as Dark Arrow, Oliver discovers that the Nazis' doomsday weapon against parallel Earths is a time ship. I'm not going to pronounce the name, but it's the Nazi time ship, which is a militarized equivalent of the Legends Wave Rider. Oliver allows the time ship to enter Earth 1 to avoid jeopardizing his cover,
which doesn't work.
But he is ultimately exposed, there you go, when he refuses to kill Felicity's Earth X doppelganger, a concentration camp prisoner. The heroes struggle with both Earth X's Red Tornado, deployed by General Scott as a failsafe, and the Nazi forces, and the temporal gateway is opened at the cost of Martin being mortally wounded.
That is a lot to unpack.
So we all knew when Obergruppenführer handed...
I'll freshen this up while you guys unpack.
Handed Oliver the gun, we all knew that thing's not living. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I was like, he needs to pull the trigger
Right.
and get some credibility.
Right.
You're not going to talk about Felicity's eyebrows?
No, we're not going to talk about Felicity's eyebrows.
Y'all are weak.
The first time you have to pluck and wax. No, no. Moving on. Travis, continue.
Yeah, no, it's we've seen that's such a
It's a trope.
it is a TV trope,
Yeah.
and he failed that test miserably.
Yeah. But don't you feel like Lance already had him sussed out, so no matter what he did, like, I don't feel like if he would have
Even
done...
if he pulled the trigger on her.
Right, I feel like it would have bought him a little time, but I feel like Lance knew. Because, like, really, you're going to pull the chick that looks exactly like Felicity? That's a lot of effort to go to.
That was his point.
Yeah.
I heard you were in love with the woman that looked like these.
Yeah.
You know?
It felt like a foregone conclusion, I guess is my point.
Yeah, and it was just, a means to get to, to get to them escaping. And he just hands her a machine gun and is like, take this.
Yeah.
And go.
Cool.
And she was like, okay.
Yeah. I do love that Felicity in any Earth is an ornery Felicity, even concentration camp Felicity. Like, she's giving kids her food, like, she's breaking the rules.
That's right. She was in there. She was going to get executed or whatever because she shared her rations.
Yeah,
with
that's
some hungry
totally Felicity.
kids.
I love Felicity Smoke. She's one of my favorites. So, speaking of her and Iris together, I love pairing the two of them up.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, in the vents, calling each other McLean.
Yeah.
Like, they had some really good lines and some good interactions.
Yeah, they were like badass, like
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like
and the
that
whole,
was cool.
I wake up next to Barry, and that's how I deal. Ooh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean,
Yeah.
You and Oliver having issues. Sorry.
Yeah.
So there was some good, like, and Felicity's like, yeah, no, I'm dealing with it.
No, it's
so,
real.
yeah, they're fun together. I wouldn't. I think in the other crossover, whenever she shows up, when they had in like season 2 of Arrow, when they did it might have even been season 1 because Arrow trained Barry. So she might have showed up. They had good.
Well, that was when, and I mean, Felicity's character from the start has been so good.
Yeah.
And, well, I don't want to jump ahead, but I like that she was the character that they were like, oh shit, the fans love her way more than we thought. Okay, we'll keep her around. Cool. And
Bye, Laurel.
Huh?
Nothing?
Bye, Laurel. I don't watch Arrow, so I don't know.
Oh, Laurel was awful. Fuck Laurel. Ugh. That thigh gap was way too much to handle.
Listen, as somebody who lives in Pflugerville, Texas, as somebody who played Texas high school football, you're not going to disrespect Friday Night Lights like that.
I don't know what most of those words mean in sequence, but sure.
She was the cheerleader on Friday Night Lights.
I didn't watch that shit.
It's such a good show.
I highly doubt that, but I will take your word for it.
They filmed it like up the street, and it's about football in Texas as a child. Hi guys.
Only hear good things about Friday Night Lights.
I grew up in New Jersey. I don't know.
You're not in the picture anymore, so come back.
Hey, welcome back, Trav.
There we go.
So let's talk about.
We talking about Win playing a really
Let's
cool
talk about
picture.
Win.
Okay, when Win showed up, because I was waiting for Monel. I was waiting for that was what
I knew Monel wasn't
Jesus,
coming.
Cam. Woof.
So Supergirl's Earth
Rough.
is Earth 38.
Apparently.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't even talk about that cool moment yet.
I was just I thought Monel or somebody was going to show up to give them an extra, extra hand. So when Win showed up, I was like, oh.
And mean Win.
But it wasn't,
But
Win.
I like that. Like I again, like sometimes when they do the doppelganger thing and they do them too, like I'll be real, evil Kara, I didn't the whole time. I was like, stop it.
She didn't do a lot.
Well, and like her acting wasn't great. She's like, I'm mean. I'm a Nazi now. I'm super pouty. I didn't buy it. But I was really impressed with evil Quentin Lance.
Great.
And evil Win. Not evil, but
yeah.
I mean
Edgy Win.
Edgy Win. Yes, yeah. Win who like went away to college and then came back over the summer and had learned some shit.
Would have read some books.
Read some books.
But
to
you
a
know, he
philosophy
was a
class.
good. You don't like Walking Dead, and you've established that.
But I watch it every week. I just hate it a lot.
But he was a good. I have to take care of my people above everybody else.
Well,
That
here's the thing.
was terrible.
What
I mean, in the same situation, I'm probably doing the same thing.
The whole
but
time,
to like send, like, it's like
I am team
it's
win.
like Futurama when that garbage ball from the 20th century was coming back and it was going to slam into Earth.
It was a big ball of garbage.
And then they redirected it. And it was like, yeah, but the trajectory is on. It'll come back in 1,000 years and destroy. And they were like, let them deal with it. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, I just have such an issue.
I'm literally going to throw some trash in the trash can.
Knowingly,
and not recycle it tonight.
Like, knowingly, like, hey, we got, like, when he was like, we've been fighting these Nazis for generations, my grandfather.
Yo, they did say generation, Joe. So at least 3, if time matters, right?
Hitler died in 94!
That was, we didn't even talk about that little detail they dropped. In that world, Hitler died in 94.
In The Man in the High Castle, Hitler died in like 62.
So we saw like the first episode of Martin and was like, fuck this.
I can see the tides are turning. I'm out.
No.
You mean Tommy don't have no job?
No. It's Hitler. Yo, it's Hitler. He was mad Seinfeld got a second season. It was like this boring shit. Because remember, the first 2 seasons of Seinfeld was terrible.
He's like, no, I can't even argue that. I hated the set pieces.
No, I bet he was
they brought Kramer?
No, Hitler was like, boop, 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 boop. This is funny. Oh,
Hitler started jigging a little bit to the... I like Jerry's sneakers.
Did you guys like my Seinfeld song?
You know, that was pretty strong.
All white people can just do that on a cue. What were we talking about?
But no, just, again, Snart shows up last second, saves everything.
Gay Snart is a 9.
He saves. He shoots all the guns, the weapons out. They take cover, and then we get to see Ray's power.
So what do you guys think about that? Like, because after watching so much of Firestorm over the last couple of seasons,
Ray is basically
I was
Firestorm.
like, yeah, basically. And so my immediate reaction was,
without the flames,
you're phasing out Firestorm,
right,
and bringing in the Ray.
Also, have you guys seen that actor? He's British. He's been on Doctor Who. He's been on
Jax.
Well, you know who he looks like, right?
Every time he does the
he looks like Blue Mountain State guy.
I don't
know. The quarterback. The guy who played Aquaman on Smallville.
Oh,
he looks like that guy.
That's
who he reminds me of.
I don't know. He was in Doctor Who, and he was he was a gay character in Doctor Who as well. He hooked up with Captain Jack. Anyway, Doctor Who. But yeah, he's a British actor, and he's one of those like 8 British actors that is nameless but is on fucking everything.
Yeah.
Okay, Sean Bean.
No, Sean Bean is in the named category.
Is he? Okay,
Yeah.
I do know his name.
Yeah.
That happens.
Well, I mean, he dies a lot, but
Black guy and Get Out. I think he's on that list now.
Yeah. Also, Idris Elba. Speaking of,
we're not gonna.
No.
You watch The Wire, so he's not nameless. But no, go ahead.
No, but I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Those British actors, those 8 British actors.
But yeah, there's that carousel of British actors.
There's a couple
who
of
are
them.
good at things.
But there's like the top tier British actors, and then there's the not, and he's in the lower ones.
Okay, he's in that rung.
And so when I saw him, I recognized him, and I knew that he had been in enough that I was like, well, shit, maybe he is moving over. I think he might be like a period, like what's her name, Jessie Quick. She's not.
Is she British?
No, but I mean that if he's going to stay in the universe, he might be at that level, where he comes in a couple of times.
But who would he go? He would go with.
It's one of the spoilers we have, and we'll talk about.
Well, he's what's-his-face's boyfriend, so they'll come back together.
He starts boyfriend, and so they even established that, hey, I'm gonna hang around here for a while.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So Snart's gonna be in the Flash.
Yes.
Let me ask you, Danny, because it's Travis and I, it's 2 straight black guys talking about this stuff all the time, and none of my gay homeboys were available tonight. So
I will step in.
So do you think they were right on, not enough, or too much with their relationship?
Like with the physical stuff, the kissing?
Just with their chemistry?
Not even, just with their chemistry, not even with the kissing. People kiss all the time.
Right.
It's kissing.
I think it was right on. It was enough. I didn't go, oh, I don't care about this Ray guy or this new Snart enough that it was fine because you got the feeling that they're going to be on the campus.
Because here's the thing. Like, I think that one thing that these shows do, they establish that you gotta choose a side. Like, Nazis are bad, and these are the things that Nazis are against. Nazis are against gay people kissing.
Right. Also, I mean, if you want to talk about choosing a side, if you want to talk about one of the most overtly political shows that's not a political show that's out there, Supergirl is...
Is it? Because
On-
Legends is heavy.
Fam,
No,
Catco is like...
They're like,
The
hashtag
re-
I'm with her.
The
Like, they're
Catco
on
is
it.
the real liberal media.
Word
Like
Yeah.
how they talk up, they claim CNN and MSNBC. There is no liberal media. If CNN and MSNBC are liberal, and the liberal media, then I mean BP,
So,
oil,
The head of
and
Catco
every
literally
pharmaceutical.
left to go be the press secretary for the female president that is on their planet.
Yeah,
Well,
and they
and
make
but also
all
having
kinds of crazy
references, yeah.
about how he's
Like when the Elizabeth Warren thing happened, she persisted.
They
The
jumped on
next
that.
week that was on the show.
Nice.
I mean, they're on it.
Yeah.
So it was funny, like, not funny. I won't get too political, but I'm just saying that a year ago, Nazis being bad guys on a superhero show, like you punch Nazis, Captain America punches Hitler in the face, that's what we do. But in 2017, that felt like an overtly political act, especially having Supergirl being part of it,
Yeah.
and how they have very consciously made those decisions.
And when Overgirl was talking to Supergirl, like, you are blonde and blue-eyed and fine, and
She
and
did
the
look at her
epitome,
like that.
Yeah.
the epitome of Aryan power and all that. Why don't you use it? And Kara's like, I don't think I'm better than anybody. And she's like, but you should, because you are.
She pulled up
Yeah.
on her just like that.
And also, let's be real, that if we're going to talk about the politics of right now, the term meritocracy is something that is very legitimately believed by quite a few people that are running our country right now. There are a
I
lot...
don't really believe that.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
They know they didn't get there by genuine hard work.
Okay, I'm not talking about deep down in their heart and soul.
Right.
Keep going.
I'm not talking about deep down in their heart and soul. I'm talking about what their whole... You cannot sit there and say we should raise taxes on the poorest people and lower taxes on the richest people if
Should
you're
we
not going to
trade?
justify it. Why?
Because yours is strong and you established that.
I'm nursing that.
Okay.
Damn, why are you going to step in and talk about drink trading when I'm making a very interesting political point?
I'm ready to make a salient point.
Anyway, the point I was trying to make was there are a lot of arguments that maybe aren't overtly being labeled as meritocracy, but there's a lot of like, well, rich people are rich because they deserve to be rich, and poor people are poor because they deserve to be poor.
The ironic thing in this Nazi world, she's right.
Mm.
She's right. She's on top because she's the strongest.
That's true. But why is Oliver on top then? Or evil Oliver?
Yeah.
He ain't the strongest.
Well, he's a dope.
He's the strongest man.
Yeah, he's
And
Arrow's
he has a
awesome.
penis.
But they have actual metas locked up in their concentration camps, so that's not true.
What meta do they have that's
Ray.
locked up that isn't a homosexual, that's blonde hair and blue eyed?
But that's what I'm saying.
No, yeah, it doesn't count. Your bench press doesn't count if you're gay. Let me say this, and I have a fun story.
You're
that has nothing to
freaking
do with
one-liners, bro. I can't.
No, that's why they keep me on
Your
the show.
bench press
So
doesn't
no.
count if you're...
Today, I was at the gym right before we came, and I saw my gay homeboy at the gym, and I love him. He's super nice, and he's super gay. And I went up to him. I said, "Hey, we got to talk." He's like, "What's up, man?" And he's big smile. He's like, "What's up, man?" I said, "Look, man, them short shorts you wear, we got to talk about that, bro. It's a bit much." You remember when we were in college? How the girls wore those Nike shorts with the stripe on the side that split out to the side?
Uh-huh.
He wears those to the gym.
Good for him.
No, I told him. I said, "My man, it's your world, dog. You can live, but you're doing a bit much." And he smiled, and he's like, "I know. That's my man. He knows. That's my man."
Do what you do.
You gotta chill out on that, dog.
Is he fit?
He's slim. I don't know how fit he is.
Like, does he have
Cam's about to start pinning some pink triangles on people.
Nah. Oh, chill out. That's my man.
I'm just saying, does he?
He don't got no cuts.
Okay.
He's just a slim dude. I said, "Hey, my man, them shorts a little short, bro. You my dog, but them shorts a little short. I'm all about your gains. But your shorts too
But I
short.
love his reaction was like to smile on your face. He's like, I know.
That's my man.
That's awesome.
You know,
That's the perfect reaction to that.
it's love.
So since we were talking about the chemistry between
Yeah.
Snart and his boyfriend, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. Like it felt like they had no relationship at all until they had those moments.
That's a problem.
But those moments felt like they were good. Like it didn't feel like, hey bro, now we're a couple. Like,
Here's one thing
worked.
about you and your husband, and me and my girlfriend, and Travis and his fantastic first date that stopped him from watching this show when he was supposed to. We'll never hope.
4.5 hours of just getting to know each other.
Hell yeah, bud.
At Veracruz, at radio, down on Manchester.
I hope you can see me. Gross. But no, we'll never know wartime love.
Yeah.
Hopefully. You know
right.
We'll never know wartime love.
That's some Romeo and Juliet shit.
Yeah, we'll never know that need to have somebody because I don't know if tomorrow's going to happen.
Yeah.
We'll never know that. But that's what was happening here. So I'm okay with that. I'm like, you know what? Dire straits.
But I got the feeling that they knew each other.
No, they met 3 weeks before the Nazis took over and had to be in love.
But their Nazis have been there for
Matter of fact,
generations.
not took over.
Yeah.
You're right. They were undercover lovers the whole time.
That's the second time. I got a year for you. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. Like, also, the guy that plays Snart is just, like, such a bad actor that I have a really hard time...
Wait! Would you chill out?
Wait a second.
So bad, you
It's
guys.
one thing not to like the character and to hate his voice.
We're not going to disrespect...
Tremendous.
We're not going to disrespect black people on this show. Even if they have a touch of black.
Oh, damn. And he's got a touch.
What is his touch?
He's black.
Oh, he's got a smidgen.
No, he really,
oh, yeah, literally.
He really is black. Like, we're not playing.
Yeah.
He's actually black.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. Then he's a very excellent actor.
Damn. He shows up on those,
But no, actually.
20 actors you didn't
know.
know.
You really don't like him?
Yeah.
I really think he's a bad actor. That's why I don't like him.
I really appreciate how he plays that role. I really do.
Like, I literally hate everything about how he plays that role because I feel like he goes for the easy thing. Like again, like that whole thing with the voice. Like, I know that's my example, but it feels so like snide.
I'm not sure why that's easy though.
I don't know because it's like you could be first of all Captain Cold. You're working uphill from
That's Cisco's
one.
problem. That's Cisco's dumbass name.
Well,
and
it's the comics dumbass.
It's the
name.
you're right. But Cisco
but that's
gets
the thing.
it.
Like,
same thing with Golden Glider. What an awful,
me accepting
awful
that Flash,
but it's like
is Flash.
That's
I have to embrace.
Yeah.
But Barry Allen isn't cheesy like that.
But everybody around him is super cheesy.
I don't know. Snart, I feel like Snart is like
Caitlin's name is Killer Frost.
it is, but when
that's cool.
They have a king shark.
they do.
That's cool too.
And that animatronic fucking Chuck E. Cheese shark
Hold
is
up.
less
That is some
cheesy
high quality
than Snart.
CGI.
They spent all their money, Danny, on that shark.
I know, which is why all the people CGI looks like freaking Gumby. It looks like
all
Gumby and
the money
Tony.
goes to King Shark.
I know, because when they're flying up in the air, it looks like freaking
Guys, we're talking about an episode where we have a gun battle. A big gun battle. After Oliver, like we talked about, establishes that he's not going to kill Felicity, everybody rushes in, a big gun battle.
And Oliver kills everybody.
Yeah,
to the point where Flash then gets in like, you didn't leave one for me?
Well, he's like, you murdered a
His
bunch of dudes?
murder game is
cool.
like, again, I love that.
Which is why
Even
Barry
though
needs
he's
to
not a
step
vet.
his murder game up.
From 0
We have
to
a
1?
lot. We have less television though. But actually,
He should have stepped his murder
because
game
he
up.
didn't kill one guy, we're probably going to have more television about him murdering another guy. But we'll talk about that. Again, Oliver being Oliver and Black Widow, and who else we're going to put in there? And White Canary
Hawkeye.
and Hawkeye. Them being
Both Hawkeyes.
again stop. Let him be Jason Bourne too. Them being humans who can kill every human who's not a meta. I super appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, I had to suspend a certain amount of disbelief because Oliver killed a lot of people with arrows when they had automatic rifles.
Well, he grabbed the guy and pulled the gun out of his hand, if you remember. So he used the other guy as his shield.
What happened in the future? Oh yeah, he did.
And he turned him around.
He had him like,
You saw that motion.
and he was using his gun like.
You know what's crazy?
Because
Because you always remember, like,
I've been watching too much Jesus and Mary. I'm like, brah, brah, brah.
Travis didn't watch Justice League. Justice League
So
Unlimited.
from the back.
But I told him, you're so good. But I told him about the time where Superman was like, yo, there are no people around. Darkseid, so I can finally fight you at like full tilt. You don't get Oliver around a situation where there's no innocent bystanders.
That's
where there's
true.
all Nazis. So fuck everybody who's here. Murder game. Strong.
Going back to episode 1 in the church when Carr. I think it was episode 1 when Carr turns to Overgirl and does her slap. Boom!
I forgot about that. We didn't talk about that.
No, here's what's crazy. You don't see the slap, but in the same show that I'm talking about, when Superman finally hits Darkseid when no people are around, he hits him so hard flying on a lean a sonic boom happens.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing. Everything slows down. So, yeah, when these people finally get around a situation where there's no bystanders, they go crazy. And it's amazing.
Well, my thing was Kara did it in a church full of bystanders.
Yeah, which is like,
but my thing was, there were no repercussions. Like, nobody was like, anybody still, like, in episode 3, they should have been like, I've still got that ringing from when Kara did the super slap.
I went to a concert like 6 months ago and my ears are still ringing.
Walking Flock of Flame?
That was.
It was a Walking Flock of Flame.
So can we talk about Red, what I keep reading is Red Tomato, but it's actually Red Tornado?
Yeah, so y'all gotta tell me about Supergirl because I know Red Tornado is Young Justice.
It's not in Supergirl. I don't remember.
He's not in Supergirl? He was early, right?
He was like season 1,
Was he like a one-off baddie of the week? I don't remember.
Yes, he was like a baddie of the week twice.
Really? No, Red Tornado, if you watch Young Justice, he's their overseer. He's like their babysitter for the B team, like the young heroes in Young Justice. And he's really all powerful, and his doctor made him great. So it was like, that was a good reference for me, seeing how strong he was and how it took Flash and the Ray not to beat him, but to subdue him.
I'd never heard of him being railed.
Okay.
So I was just kind of like,
I think what's her the mom Lena's and Lex's mom brought him back the second time, but the first time it was a government thing that maybe he went out of control or something got hacked or something and she had to like take him out. But
oh yeah, I do remember they brought Supergirl in to like subdue him.
Right, and I think it was like a test. Like I think they were trying to build. The government was in charge of like building the Red Tornado, and they were like, "Hey, DEO, can we use Supergirl as like a test to see how good our robot thing is?" And I think he gave her more work than like they told them.
They were ready for it.
Yeah. And then the second time, I think in season 2, he had a cameo because Kara's mom or Lena's mom Luther. Brought him back or something. And I like that she got two villains because Metallo showed up. And again, they didn't explain how they got access to these villains that are on their 38. I guess it's like, well, I guess they void them in somehow or
Metallo is the most interesting villain that I've seen
the Furious
in animation.
With you?
Because he kicks Superman's in the animated series.
I don't think they established how strong he was, and we'll get to this.
You don't think so? I think they did because it took everybody to beat him.
Well, and so when I was watching that scene, I was like, I literally turned to Trent and was like, it's a little much for a fucking robot.
Well, he's got the kryptonite.
Okay, but not everybody in that room is affected by kryptonite. Yeah, so I don't think they established.
Was Overgirl even affected by that arrow?
We didn't talk about kryptonite arrow.
Again, this is something that I don't think you were a part of the conversation. Me and my friends, who are your friends too? Yeah. We've established a hierarchy. Yeah, right? Your friends too. We gotta put you in the group chat. There's a hierarchy, and there's a real idea that Oliver Queen, that Stephen Amell, is the second best Batman ever. And I kinda roll with it. Arrow's Batman. If we're being fair. If they could do a Batman show, it would be that.
I was so impressed.
He's going to say Kryptonite Arrow.
No. I was so impressed more with how they filmed it. When the Overgirl and Dark Arrow needed an escape, so they tried to blow up that construction site, and they were like, we need to reinforce it, and he's like, whoosh, flying, and I'm like, what are those ropes or strings made of that you can carry them on you, but
they're not that heavy, but they're that heavy.
but they can secure
Right.
like this whole frame of a tall 50-story building.
Also,
or
let's
whatever
just
that was
talk
gonna be.
about Stephen Amell, right? Stephen. Let's just talk about.
Is that an attractive man?
That is a beautiful man. So
They've established in the Arrowverse how attractive he is.
when Barry's getting his tuxedo and Stephen Amell walks out in this tuxedo and Barry goes, "Damn," and I was like, "That's beautiful."
No.
Even the Flash is like.
So
"You're
again,
beautiful."
Travis and I do a wrestling show every week.
I'm aware of this.
No, yeah, and he's,
I don't listen to it because, but yeah.
Yeah, he was just on a wrestling event. He was on SummerSlam a few years back.
Yeah.
No, and then women that we talk to
He is
are very into him.
whole.
And even in the universe, they establish who he is. We're fans of the man because he participates in these things, and he's clearly athletic.
He did American Ninja Warrior.
He did.
How far did he get?
He completed the
Yeah.
course.
Oh shit!
He completed the course.
Yeah.
So yeah,
He
he's
didn't get to the top of Mount Dorama, but
yeah.
he was close.
but he's
That's right, I watched
an
it.
athlete. So yeah, he's
Him doing the salmon ladder.
But no,
Oh, Jesus,
like,
Mary
really-
and Joseph.
if they had the wherewithal, if they had the clearance to do Batman,
White
he would be Batman. He's great. Like he really is. And
Also, I would
when
just like
he-
to file a formal complaint. Not enough shirtless Oliver this season. There's like
well,
none.
because nobody wants to see scars except women.
Yeah,
But
his
no,
scars are sexy.
the fact that he had a kryptonite arrow and shot it.
And
then she
everybody
was like,
had
"What?"
the same. Why did he have a kryptonite arrow?
In
And what
case
did he
an
say?
evil you showed up.
That's Batman. That's why, and you'll see Justice League eventually. That's why
when I
Justice
don't have to
League
pay for it.
doesn't work, and that's why that's Batman.
Yeah.
Like people who, not that everybody who doesn't like Batman doesn't like him for the same reason, but that's the thing that makes Batman Batman.
He's supposed to
Yes,
be
I'm a
smart.
human, but you guys are all goody two shoes on principles, and I'll check any one of you if you step out of
Doesn't
line.
Batman have like a plan
He has a
for
contingency
everybody?
plan for everybody,
Right.
which is why Green Arrow has a kryptonite arrow.
Right.
That's why. But they can't say it.
Episode 4.
Episode 4. The heroes make it back to Earth 1 after hijacking the gateway.
Oh, I'm sorry. We didn't adequately cover Stein getting shot. He doesn't.
Yeah, he has to run. They had to get
It's-
inside.
Guys,
What?
in reality, how long do you think that scene was, and how long did it feel like it went?
It felt really long.
It felt about 20 minutes.
And
And
Jax.
it might have been 3.
Well,
Jax
because it was like a
was like,
commercial.
hey, this thing on an Earth I've never seen before, I can hotwire it. And I was like, God damn it.
Yo.
Well, it was a commercial. They went to commercial. He's laying there.
But
They come back and
put the
the
3
blood
minutes of
has
commercial in.
pooled.
I was
more
so
underneath
like,
him.
He was
oh,
Jon
no.
Snowing like a motherfucker. I was sure.
Man.
Rough.
The blood is shaped like a dire wolf.
He's coming back. He's coming
That
back.
was so good what you
9
just
months
did.
of that.
You'll never do anything as good as that. That was great.
I
The blood is shaped like a
believe that.
dire wolf. How did you come up with something that good?
That was a real, yeah,
It was amazing.
Not Game of Thrones watcher over here.
No, I mean, I know what a dire wolf is. It was just good.
No.
They say that in the show, the blood is shaped like a dire
No,
wolf?
No.
that's
That was
it.
just a ton of speculation. When
I'm about
Jon
to use this as my bathroom break
when
because
Jon
I can't
Snow-
handle this.
Do that.
When Jon
That's
Snow,
what happens when you bring a female
hey,
onto this.
You know what?
Die.
This is when me and Trav can do promo while you're in the
Do
bathroom.
promo. Do promo,
Okay.
boys.
Trav,
Mm-hmm.
PW Torch East Coast Cast promo.
Yeah.
Should happen right now.
Yeah. Pro Wrestling Torch East Coast Cast every Wednesday, 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 Central, and until we stop. Callers, emailers, tweeters, everything. Participate. We like the interaction. Go to eastcoastcast.com and check out like 7 years of archives and. But we are on live every Wednesday at 6:30 Eastern. Cam and I, and then Rich and I do a VIP post game show just for VIPers. So yeah, check us out. EastCoastCast.com.
What I want to do while we're taking this break, I want to say go to redbubble.com and tpublic.com, search Seahawk, CEEHAWK, to find all our merch, t-shirts, stickers, coffee mugs, hoodies, long sleeve shirts, onesies for your baby. You'll find all that. Somebody bought, and not somebody, our man Craig bought a queen size duvet saying ECC is lit. And shout out to Craig forever for that. It's great. Yeah. But no.
Still ain't got that picture of him snugged up cozy underneath our blanket.
Yeah, we still need that. Send it to Travis.
Need that for the archive.
Not Cameron. Send it to Travis. It'll be great. But no. So yeah, let's jump into...
I'm diluting down my drink so
I see you.
Yeah.
You said, I'm sipping it.
Well, now I'm going to keep sipping it. Jesus Christ.
Episode, you know what you could do while you're standing there? You can refresh your boy. Yeah, she's not there. I'll hand that off to the side.
I don't know what you... Like I said, booze, it's not Henny. I don't know what you drink.
I think that was racist. I'll read the description for episode 4.
Oh, I got the R word.
The heroes make it back to Earth 1 after hijacking the gateway. Iris, Felicity, Kara, and the others are rescued by the returned heroes and the Legends crew. Martin uses the serum to separate the Firestorm Matrix before dying from his wounds.
Oh.
His death spurs Green Arrow to declare war on Dark Arrow, Overgirl, and their forces.
As if war wasn't declared already.
With his team and allies.
Fucking Nazis.
The heroes need to destroy the ship that I won't name because it's in German. Say it.
Oh, the Willing Rider?
Yeah, Wellenrider. It's fine. Before it annihilates the world and attacks the other Earths.
You got my drink because I wasn't going to make yours.
Thank you. Jefferson tells Martin's family of his fate. When he meets Mick and learns of his counterpart's fate, Leo tells him that his Earth-X counterpart perished, saving police officers from the fires. The Nazis attack Central City, and the heroes counter the assault. During the fight with Kara, Overgirl's solar radiation goes nuclear, and Kara carries her into space where she explodes. Afterward,
basically, Heroes Season 1 finale.
Nobody watched Heroes. Afterward.
We watched Season 1.
Yes.
Hashtag Team Draft.
I was like 12. Oliver kills Dark Arrow.
We're the same age.
I know. 12 sounded nice. When he is in shock.
Shoulder
Oliver kills Dark Arrow when he is in shock over his wife's death. Barry spares Thawne, resuming their feud.
We're going to talk about that.
That might be where we start. Harry, who pilots the Wave Rider, destroys the Wyland Rider after the heroes disable its shield. After Martin's funeral, Kara and Alex return to Earth 38, and Leo decides to remain on Earth 1 for a while. John Diggle, an ordained minister, officiates Barry's and Oliver's weddings with Iris and Felicity, respectively.
Well, Iris and Felicity, or...
Because if you're not going to jump on somebody else's engagement party, you should jump on their wedding.
Can you marry us too?
God damn it.
Friggin' Felicity.
What's happening there, bud?
Nothing. A bunch of people are still watching on live, but we'll go back to IG. Keep talking, guys.
Why are you looking at pictures of food?
That wasn't food.
Alright, so let's have the debate about should Barry have killed Thawne, because I feel like we're on opposite
sides. Ain't no
sides.
debate. He should have killed Thawne.
That is not Barry Allen.
Disable him. Break his legs.
What? What is happening?
It's fine.
So...
Stop, guys.
But that's not who Barry is as a character. He doesn't kill. Like...
Break his legs.
So you're mad that he let him
vibrate into do his spine, the base of his spine.
Okay,
so
I agree with that. When he was like, "Get out of here," I was like, "Wait."
Yeah.
Like,
get out of here.
It's not a light switch. We've got dimmer options in between killing and letting him go. I agree with that.
If you're just joining us on IG Live, we are finishing up talking about Crisis on Earth X. It's the South Congress podcast, fan by fan show. With Travis and Danny, I'm Cameron. Keep going.
Yeah.
So I disagree with you that he should have killed him.
Right. And that's understandable. Barry doesn't kill.
Yeah.
But also, you guys have prisons. You guys have a whole tube system with. They show the same woman, the same screaming. I guess you needed. I'll take it. The same.
He
the
doesn't
chick
like
that,
the drink I made him.
I love it.
That screams.
I also have to go to bed.
They
and not get in trouble.
I don't.
I'm just paying you back for the drink you made me.
I don't have to go to your bed and get in trouble. I live here.
That is very uncomfortable. Let's move on.
I hope you have a big bed.
I do have a big bed.
You got it.
It's a lot of house.
Yeah, it was just. It just reminded me. I brought it up before about the damn Thundercats episode where they catch Mum-Ra. And then they go.
I'm sorry, you have repeated references to a Thundercats episode?
Because it's
really
ridiculous.
It's a perfect reference.
They got Mum-Ra, and they're like, now get out of here, Mum-Ra, and with your evil ways. And Mum-Ra flies away to torment them for 4 more seasons or whatever, because this is season 1.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I had to film it and put it on Instagram. This was like a year ago. I'm like, why did they let Mum-Ra go? Like, this Thundercats rewatch is I'm about to turn it off because this is just absurd.
So,
and then Barry goes and does the
Trev,
same.
can we please make anytime this trope shows up, can we just do hashtag why did they let Mum-Ra go?
Why did they let Mum-Ra go? I mean, seriously.
That's amazing.
I was so upset at Barry.
So I don't even know where to start with this episode. So, okay.
And Thawne is not, that proved Thawne was just
but
an
he knows,
opportunist.
he knew.
He was like, oh, the Nazis are about to lose. Time to
I'm out.
do another thing.
Yeah, I mean, I was really glad to see them bring Thawne back. I think they did a good job with him in Legends. I think they did a good job with him in this season, or this like kind of single episode without making it too over the top. I agree with you. Him just letting him walk felt a little like, come on guys. Like, he could have at least tried to put the metacuffs on him, and he fought him, and was like, I'm out of here, and, like, that would have solved the problem. So,
and then, I mean, the argument would have been, why didn't he chase him? I had a near serious issue the week of the Black Bison episode.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when Dibney goes...
That episode was also just overall stupid.
Like, you could have caught her... Like, in the moment it took you to kill the animated... A knight's suit of armor.
Right.
You're the Flash. Now, how far do you think she got?
Right. Superhero physics.
So he's been making some really weird decisions.
But that's part of the lighter. You have to make things sillier.
There's silly, and then there's just like, ugh.
So let's talk about Firestorm.
Yeah.
And Jax.
Yeah, that was good. These two killed their scenes.
I so disagree with you. I think the guy who played Jax was terrible.
I thought he did a fine job.
He could not squeeze out a single real tear.
Oh, that's fine. I don't.
Like people don't cry.
Except
Denzel and Glory.
That's fine. That's just the one.
Get the one. Yeah,
he didn't get the one. But like he was like, here's my problem. He was like.
You mad that he's not Denzel Washington?
That's it.
So selfish.
I'm mad that every black actor is not Denzel Washington. That's just me perpetually watching television.
I also feel that way.
But like, I don't know, like, I'm sorry, I have a problem with an actor being like, oh, no, stagnant, no. And then they zoom in on their face and there's no tear.
I thought it was perfect. You have to...
You need to watch better TV.
No, and here's the thing. Like... It's such a unique relationship.
It is, so you should cry when he
dies.
But
I also come from a perspective of a black man who's of a certain age, who's seen people pass away and doesn't shed a tear over it, but is heartbroken over it.
Right, but that wasn't what he was projecting in that scene. He wasn't like, he wasn't projecting like
He was crying with no tears.
Exactly. It felt like he was sniffling, he was doing all the things.
I'm saying the same thing. Again, I'm not...
He just didn't manage to get the trickle.
You're not wrong for how you feel, but I've also been in the exact position
and
he's
have you
been in.
Been not cried?
Do you know, because you feel obligated to shed a tear, and you can't. I've absolutely been there. And again, you're not wrong. This isn't an argument. What I'm saying is, the emotion that he was conveying, I felt.
I felt, yeah. No.
I
So
felt
I'm
it.
like, like that's.
So it worked on
I
that
guess my
level.
point is you took it as like this was a character choice, and I took this as you're just
You
not that
can't
great
force
of
it out.
Yeah, that's how I take
Like,
it
I
too.
was like,
I'm
y'all-
with Danny,
Y'all
but I'm
cut the
also
scene,
with
give him an eyedropper,
Yeah.
and then
Here's
cut
the other thing. One thing me and Travis talk about a lot is how this universe is a drama, but they don't respond like people in dramas do.
Mhm.
Like, because it would have been so easy for his widow and his daughter to be like, Jax, this is your fault.
Yeah,
And they
I
were-
was waiting for
And they
that.
said it. You're his family too.
Yeah.
Let's mourn together. I was like, oh God.
Yo, when he just looked
How dare
at
they?
the daughter and she came in and joined the
That
hug.
was good.
It's
like-
amazing.
That was
And they
great.
do a good job of that. You hear us talk about it on Flash all the time, where
Yeah.
they do not hold grudges. They are not.
And
2
you talk
weeks
about
later,
like that they don't do that trope
still
of like we're
mad.
holding a secret.
Yeah.
So that
Iris
we're not
did it
telling.
like once
Yeah,
and got over it.
yeah,
Like they don't do that.
yeah. So I don't know that whole thing. I'm really sad to see Stein go. I also think, and you guys tell me, but I don't think this is the end of Firestorm. I
No.
think this is where they start looking for another.
Before we go past it, can we just say my favorite thing about this that I don't like about the DCEU is that Stein dies. We got 4, maybe 5 different scenes of characters explaining why it affected them,
Yeah.
and how sad they were, and looking
Adam
out for
holding
each
the
other.
picture.
What's E in the DCEU?
Entertainment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they don't say M, because there's Marvel Cinematic, so
Yeah.
they don't say cinematic or movie, they just say entertainment. But no, like, they showed you how it affected all these different groups.
Yeah, and then when they were like for the professor, and I was like,
Because
for
it
the
would
professor.
affect the Legends more because
Absolutely.
he's
He
on
was
their
on the team.
But they did. I mean, if you're gonna kill a minor character that's gonna affect that many people,
I wouldn't call him minor.
well, that's why I use
Yeah.
the,
Okay,
the
okay,
scare
yeah,
quotes.
yeah.
Is like, I mean, he's not Arrow or Flash,
Right.
but I mean, not only is he on Legends, but
But
he
he was a
again
big
touched
part
Caitlyn
of-
and all
Yeah,
them.
but he was a big part of season 1 of the Flash, and
Yeah.
obviously a big
Season
So
2,
if you're
right?
gonna kill somebody, that was a smart choice
one with Ronnie.
with Ronnie and all that. Yeah.
And then how he left to go hang out with the Legends and stuff, and
Yeah.
it was like connected those two
Oh,
shows.
Stein.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really sad to see that, but I thought they did a really good job. So when you were watching the last scene and they had maybe jumping ahead too far and bring us back if you want to, but your hero shot
Yeah.
of the team walking out
Yeah.
and you
All together.
Are you guys fans of that?
Oh, I liked it.
I love it.
Oh, give
Yeah.
me a slow mo, like give me a fog machine, just the walk. Oh,
Because remember how everybody complained when Civil War came out, because the comic, it was 30 on 50. It was just this big
Yeah.
clash. And in the movie, it was like, 6-man tag.
Yeah.
It's a 6-man tag.
It was like 5 on 5, 3 on 3,
Yeah.
or whatever. It was this big hangar, airport hangar, and then here's this little group, the two
Mhm.
running at each other, all this space
Yeah.
around it. So it didn't fill out the screen like the panels of the pages of that comic did. And people complained about it.
yeah.
And it was like, okay, they could have shot that a little better. They on Flat on the
Yeah.
Earth X did a
And they did a
great,
good job. They were like A tier, B tier,
great
C
job.
tier.
Yeah.
Mr.
What did you
Terrific.
guys think? And
Way
again,
back
we can
somewhere.
kind of gloss over what happened. Basically,
F tier.
they want to take
Cute tier.
Supergirl's heart because
Mm.
Overgirl was exposed to too much radiation.
Yeah,
Right.
she needed her.
And
Felicity and
yeah.
Iris do enough.
Felicity
in the
shut down
meantime.
the power.
Exactly, to at least stall what's going on. We'll talk about an Easter egg as far as Felicity goes, but basically, she agrees to eventually bring it back online, which is a long enough distraction to where they can get Supergirl out of the fold. And eventually, we all got to go to all-out war. We got to fight. And like you said, Flash lets Thawne go for whatever reason. I think the most self-indulgent but coolest fight scene ever is Oliver versus Dark Arrow on top of an SUV. Because why wouldn't they fight in small quarters when everybody else is fighting below?
Yeah, yeah.
Because, again, start of the universe, best real hand-to-hand fighter outside of all this other stuff.
And Oliver Dark Arrow also knew when that explosion went off that was.
And that was some cold-blooded shit.
Oh,
it was
girl.
like if you're talking, this whole theme of this thing is marriage and weddings and all that. It's like, hey, your wife just died. Now you're weak. Blink,
Right.
done, dead.
Right.
Yo,
Jesus.
can we talk about being true to your word though? I'm going to kill you.
I'm going to kill you.
It's not like it's not even no. I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
And he did.
And
Yeah.
which is
Because
interesting
people,
because
bad guys should die.
again we're
Especially
talking about
Nazis.
Batman, right? If
Are
Arrow
we talking about
is Batman,
I wasn't.
I wasn't.
if we accept as decent people that Arrow is Batman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Batman knows that Owlman is the worst person ever. Nobody? Owlman?
Was he from?
Man bag?
Stop. But basically, Owlman is the Earth X equivalent of Batman. Owlman's the worst. Like, Owl's prairie old bats. So for whatever. Yeah.
Snap.
So all that. So Owlman is that dude.
I was not
So
aware
no.
we were discussing the animal kingdom in this level of
Okay.
detail.
So no, Batman's like, no, Owlman, I'm all about this truth and justice, but I gotta kill you. Because there is no redemption for you. So that's why Oliver told Earth X Oliver quick, like, no, I'm gonna kill you. It's not even no beat stuff. And he shot him straight through the heart when he got a chance.
While he was mourning his wife's death, he was like, man,
Yes, you
grief is a
should.
great distraction.
Yep.
Kill you when I kill you, big dog.
No hesitation.
You guys want to talk about how we finally got like some quality Cisco?
Oh,
at the
I
end?
was just about to bring up Cisco. Cisco is my favorite.
If you listen to us, me and Travis have established Cisco is us watching these shows unfold.
The T-shirt game is very strong.
Yeah.
Very strong.
He is the voice of the fan.
He's so cute.
He's what, and then like in pro wrestling, what what the straight man announcer should be. The voice of the fan, asking questions that fans at home, sitting home, are watching.
Yeah.
Cisco is that.
He is Harry going into Hogwarts.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, and also, seriously, I would love to just take a step back and like have a whole episode that y'all do about appreciating that actor and like his charisma. He's done such a good job. He's made
owns
like.
it, man.
I mean, and honestly,
and his vibe, he's gotten so. I think
he's the Felicity Smoke of them, because
Yes.
Felicity was the same
That's
thing
exactly
on
what he
Oliver,
is. Yeah.
because she was the one who was geeked out like, oh my god, and then turns into an awesome character. And so you're right that
Felicity don't like powers.
Well, she deserves some fucking powers.
But she sees everything.
She's
'cause she has a
Overwatch.
computer.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
But the point is, when Cisco comes back out, Cisco piloting the Wave Rider is all of us.
That's it. That's it.
It's
ridiculous.
It's great.
It was ridiculous.
But in a good way, not
No,
like a smart way.
I wasn't like just super.
He couldn't have called Gypsy to hook him up, like during all that. Like, what was
That's
she
true.
doing?
Well, he didn't have a cell phone.
What?
To get him out of the cell?
The crisis of everything is going on. Like, you can't call your girlfriend?
I guess.
It's the worst.
But
thing
like,
you've ever
wouldn't it
done.
be embarrassing as a breacher to have to call another breacher to like help you out?
No.
Like you have to like pretend like I got this. I'm good.
We'll talk about my Danny Trejo plug when we get off the air.
All right.
I kind of have one. It's interesting.
Okay. But seriously, like Cisco being that in that moment when you're like, everybody else is like very serious and you're like, I'm being freaking out. And he's like, what?
He's having a ball.
So great. So
What
great.
do you think about his costume? Because Travis and I have talked about it a little bit.
I don't
It's
love
Arrow colors, or not, it's Flash colors.
I don't love most of the costumes.
Burgundy, black, some yellow.
It's the black with the, it's
I'm
reverse
glad he
colors,
has
basically.
one. I mean,
He looks cool. I like the glasses, the sneakers, everything.
so
I like the glasses.
hey, while we're talking about like B-level superheroes / villains, let's talk about Killer Frost.
Yeah.
So what do we think about the fact that she can suddenly just like choose to be Killer Frost and come back?
I think we've been no. I think they've been building up to that. It's specifically in season 4.
I agree, it's still super convenient.
She's never been able to control it to that extent. Because remember the last time before this, she was like, no, and like had to freak out and fight it. And now
Right.
she's like, shink, shink.
And instantly personality changed.
Right.
When she
You
was
know
like,
what we
when
need?
she changed, and she was like, ugh, who picked these dresses? So
That
it's like,
was
you
good.
know Frost. It's
We
Frost.
need that Lord of the Rings moment. That Smeagol Gollum moment.
Yeah, exactly.
We need that.
Yeah.
In the mirror.
I think they need to have a conversation and be like, all right, bitch, here's what we're about to do. Like, do you guys watch Mr. Robot?
I don't.
You should.
I saw the first season.
Especially you should watch Mr. Robot. It's amazing. But they have this amazing trope of like, okay, I'm going to have a conversation with my other self kind of thing. That's what they need to have so they have an understanding where she's like, okay, so we're going to decide that when I have to take over, and like, if they establish that, it wouldn't feel so like super convenient. So,
yeah.
But it's fine. Sometimes her hair gets blonde. That's cool.
Guys, what do you think of the fight between the Flash and the Reverse Flash and Flash letting the Reverse Flash go?
I think it's horrible.
I think it's horrible if you're being logical, but considering we were talking about The Walking Dead earlier, it's just one of those things that you have to do in a show because that's what you do.
I don't mean to fall in the middle, but I do fall in the middle. It's horrible, but we gotta keep the show going.
Yeah.
If you had an idea with the, I mean, it's not. I don't think it's great with
They
trying
could
to
have made
get
it more of a
a
contest.
scuffle,
Yeah.
and then Thawne gets away, and it's like
You got cuffs.
and then you go because Barry makes a decision. Okay, I'm not going to go after him because I'm needed here.
Right.
He's clearly
Or
off
he takes
the-
somebody hostage
Barry
and he's
smoked
like,
him too.
yeah.
It's not even no even fight. Barry whooped
And
him.
Barry had the hand for a real long time.
And he called his bluff. Well, yeah, go ahead, do-gooder.
Yeah.
Go ahead and kill me.
So I don't know.
Pussy.
Basically.
Yeah. I mean, Thawne.
That's the Philly shit. They call each other pussy.
I call
Gotta hit
people
that-
pussy.
gotta
I'm
hit that P hard too.
Hit that P hard? Oh, that's a really awesome joke.
Wow.
I love that joke. That's a super good joke. But yes, I think we've all agreed that letting him go was terrible, and they could have done a much better job of making it a conflict. He takes somebody hostage. He forces Barry. I mean, how many times has one of the major villains gone, well, I'm going to push this building down on top of these children, so you better rescue them. So,
Well, that's
not-
what do-gooder heroes get. I mean,
Not
because
well
it
done.
works.
yeah.
Because you are, as a hero, inherently 2 steps behind because you're predictable.
Right. And you're
What
supposed
were
to be.
we watching when you can be a hero or you can be...
He's talking about a movie he's never
Or
seen.
you can live long enough to see
He's
yourself.
talking
again.
about a movie he's never seen.
What?
Is that a reference you've given him?
He's talking about The Dark Knight, and he's never watched
No.
it.
Is that the Katie Holmes one?
No, finish your quote.
No.
I like how I said that as a joke and you legitimately went, maybe.
You know what's funny? You're one of the 3 people who can make that joke. It's you, JJ the Enthusiast, and Travis.
And whoever bought the...
Also,
Again, JJ.
Oh, that was
the
JJ, okay.
Enthusiast.
I'm the nerd that's big enough to know you personally, still listen to your fucking podcast and make that joke, and you still
And
went,
he had no idea.
maybe. Maybe it is the Katie
How bad
Holmes
is
one.
that?
No.
You have
We were
merch
watching...
with that line on it, Travis. God.
We were...
I'm so
This was something I was watching
I'm
recently.
disappointed.
And... I'm trying to think, was it Supergirl?
Where they said
And-
what?
And... Oh! Maybe it was
That's close.
Secret Warriors that I'm reading. But I swear I saw it. I watched it, not like a panel in a comic book. And she's like about to get her revenge on somebody, and then they take something and throw it at
It's
like
an awesome story. I'm
they
super
and
excited.
throw
to
it
see
at
how
like a
ends.
window or something, and she runs and has to keep it from, and then her guy that she's hunting gets away. And they go, are you hunting this guy or are you going to be a hero? Because you can't be
Yeah.
both. You can't worry about the shards of glass that are going to fall on the unsuspecting citizens underneath this building. You have to do your job, and your job is to murder this guy. Now go murder him and not worry about the consequences of other
Yikes.
people getting hurt.
On Yikes. Somebody died.
Like, you're a hero. Like, all right, you killed somebody. What, they going to be mad at you? They're not going to let you superhero no more?
It's
I
possible.
like how you use superhero as a verb. Like,
Like, all right, fine. Save yourself then.
Guys,
Why this my building's burning? Yeah,
Guys.
y'all was mad at me last time I saved a bunch of people.
they distracted the team that wanted to take Supergirl's heart and put it into Overgirl's for long enough.
Also, the non-superheroes handled that shit. The non-superhero women.
On our effects.
Yeah.
Oh, no. We're going to talk about that. I'm not going to forget it. But let's
we're going to talk about Felicity and Iris.
Yeah, let's stick to the story here. They distracted them long enough to where basically Overgirl went into what's that? Not supernova.
I mean, that's what they call it?
Yeah.
She couldn't last long enough. They ended up beating her, shooting her off into space.
Up and away.
Hair carried her up.
And we'll get there
up
too.
And away.
Yeah. And all is well.
Like Peter Petrov.
The very end of the episode, Barry and Iris are with Oliver and Felicity on, at some park that people don't actually frequent unless you're old. And
white people do.
I wasn't going to say it.
We love parks. We do
Yeah,
love
parks
a
are
good
dope
park.
because people of color aren't there. And then they really decide that they want to get married, and Barry runs and grabs Diggle.
Poor Diggle.
And all Diggle wants to do is rehab his arm with a tennis ball, and he's stolen.
Oh, that's what he's doing in the ball.
When you don't watch Arrow, so basically at the end
he has nerve damage.
at the end of the best season, season 5, Prometheus, who we won't get into, it is the best. Don't listen to him. He blows up an island where it affects a lot of people on a physical level. Diggle gives him nerve damage in not his pull arm, but
his trigger hand or something.
Yeah, like you play the violin.
He's got the.
No, I'm left-handed.
Okay.
So when I play the violin, the right hand is just a stroke, but the left hand is the notes. So his notes are fucked because
you couldn't.
When I played the violin.
Well, no, I'm left-handed. No, you don't play the violin the opposite. It's made that way, to where your chin's there.
Right.
And you fucking.
I would play with my left hand.
Everybody plays with their left hand.
But it's not. You can't.
No.
Try to sit this shit.
Because what are they gonna do? Teach you the other way? Violin instructors ain't that lit.
But I'm saying guitar players can play this way, or some lefties can do that.
It's a guitar. Violin people ain't shit. Resin and all kinds of shit.
I love a good woodwind.
But no, you don't switch it. But what I'm saying is, basically, like one of his hands is fucked, and he needs drugs to fix him, and it's a great story. But no, he hasn't been in that whole 4 episodes.
He didn't even get invited to the wedding. He's like, man, all my friends are out of town.
Bitch, he wasn't even at the wedding. But no, they literally go on him at the end of the episode with him doing the tennis ball like this, and maybe the best Arrowverse gag. Not the storyline, but the gag is that he can't take super speed.
Yeah.
Like Diggle, who has been in how many firefights?
I love
I
love Diggle. He's one of my favorite characters.
He's probably been in more life and death situations than anybody in that whole universe.
Because he's got a military background.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
He's like a real Afghanistan vet.
Yeah.
So when he can't take super speed.
So they bring him and he's like, good thing I didn't throw up.
Exactly.
And I am personally an emetophobe. I cannot handle vomit. I can't handle other people vomiting. Myself vomiting.
That's a thing.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know.
No. I know it's a thing that people can't because then they'll be triggered.
No. It's like a phobia. Like if I'm in a car and somebody's like, I feel like I might get sick, I'll have a panic attack. It's bad. Yes. So I was watching this and I was just thinking like, I'm about to get married. And this guy's like, I'm about to puke. And I was like, oh, no. I was like, that's the worst thing ever. And then he just turns and like hurls. And he's like,
so good.
Let's do this.
But he was ready.
Jesus.
So yeah, they bring him in to marry them. He marries Barry and Iris. And it's the sweetest.
And then the worst couple in the universe.
Let's get there. It's the sweetest thing in the whole
world. It is
world.
really sweet.
Because Barry and Iris.
Except they were raised as siblings. But other than that, super sweet.
Again, I'm all for what you're saying. I have to look past it. For reasons.
He's like, the only constants in my life have been change and you. Because you're my sister.
If it's not weird to Joe, and he doesn't accept any other relationship like that, it's not weird to me.
Okay. It's weird.
And Joe, listen, Joe is a black man with a hairline right here who cries every day.
Joe's hairline has nothing to do with whether or not his children were raised as children.
Joe deals with real stress.
Okay.
Joe
So
salutes
if
from his ear.
Joe's hairline was further back, we'd have to deal with the fact that his married kids are...
If Joe's hairline was further back, we'd have to accept that his kids have extra arms. And less eyes. And half as many nostrils. But no, we let Joe live.
By the way, because of y'all, I look at Joe's hairline in every episode.
Yo!
Like, how can you not?
Like, seriously.
Because white women don't know that, and you've opened
No!
my eyes.
This is the reason that we need people of color talking about these shows.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
It's great. But no.
Because now I see bad hairlines. Y'all have just
and
wrecked my
do you
life.
hate Wally's hair yet?
I hate Wally's hair so bad. And then, I can't remember, I was watching, it was probably Deez and Mare, but I was watching a show with, like a real bad hairline, and I was like, son of a bitch.
And the
fact that she watches and references Deez and Mare.
That's why Danny's,
amazing.
One of the homies.
Oh, they're
okay.
my fave.
So, yeah, Barry and Iris exchange great information, and then Felicity has that change of heart, and also wants
in
to
the
marry
middle of
Oliver.
her best friend's wedding.
Can I tell y'all something? Like, my man Jeff. I love Jeff, and Jeff is going to hear this.
The enthusiast or fraud?
Fraud Jeff. Mm-hmm. Jeff established during, I think, episode 2, that Felicity was the new villain of the Arrowverse.
What?
Which is me saying they know who their audience is. They know they had to bring Felicity back around.
They had to bring them back together. They did the will they, won't they thing, which means that next year Felicity's going to die. You know that, right?
With a baby in her belly.
Probably.
Arrow through both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, they can't. They're too perfect. They're too great. They're too great together.
It's been working out pretty well.
I know, it's bad. I know. Because them, like, the whole will they or won't they was one of the best parts of Arrow coming up, and then they got together, and it was kind of like, okay, they will.
And they broke up, and then they got back together, and they're super firm, and it's gross.
It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. So, again, as the only married human in this thing, so at my wedding, so I eloped with my husband. We got married in Cabo San Lucas. We had my 2 best friends,
I thought she's flexing on us a little bit.
I am flexing on
Cabo San Lucas.
In Cabo San Lucas. Well, it's not like it was a crazy, like, I was a baller wedding. There were literally 6 people there.
She was at the jitters in Cabo San Lucas.
It was, yeah. Jitters. But anyway, so, but like I had my 2 best friends. One was married already, and one wasn't. And if she would have popped up and been like, "Hey, oye, señor, can you marry us too?" I would have been like, "Bitch, your dress is not even the right color."
Golly.
Can you genuinely?
No. I would never Faye's best friend got married less than a year ago.
And what if you were like, "Hey, Faye, let's get
never
married"? Like, even if you proposed,
I would
that's
never
so fucking
because
evil.
it's not my time. Like,
No.
It's about respect.
Yeah.
So
So
it's
anyway,
not cool.
I love Felicity and Oliver, and I'm super glad they're married now, but they have no class.
But you know what? No, but
They
they actually don't. Oliver, again, the whole Arrowverse exists because he tried to smash his girlfriend's little sister
That's true.
without anybody knowing.
Although, if it was Oliver Queen at my best friend's wedding, I'd be like, yes, right now. Padre,
She
Padre.
said a drink and a half.
It's not about the drinks. It's
No,
about
that's what I'm saying.
Stephen Amell. I'm just
Stephen
saying,
Amell's cool.
beautiful things.
And I like regardless of how attractive he may or may not be, I like they established that he's the most attractive person in the Arrowverse. Because even Iris and
they've even been like, Oliver Queen is really hot.
Caitlin, they were like, no,
he's really hot.
He's the one.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So it basically ends with Overgirl almost dying, Supergirl charging her up and whooping her.
Oh,
Oliver. Overgirl almost died? She died. She exploded.
I mean, beforehand.
Well,
Supergirl beat her up
before
before
she
she
got
died.
cancer.
So you wanted to talk about
Hey, don't let cancer be a crutch, bro.
But I'm just saying, once they established she was
Cancer
sick,
is not.
or it was just like.
I'm joking.
I am so sorry, you guys.
Conversation.
Please.
But no,
this is
but Supergirl charged her up. Oliver kills Dark Arrow.
Do you guys want to talk about what's her face in her ice bridge?
Oh
no, I don't. Except now I do. I just want to say at the end of it, Everybody got married. Everybody's
Okay.
happy. Now, I do want to talk about Easter eggs.
Oh.
Because
That's page 2, guys.
I established that. The first one is King Shark. We talked about that a little bit. King Shark randomly exists.
Well, you mean out of
prison?
Yeah.
I like how your commentary is /how?
How? I don't know how he's out of prison, but somehow probably chewed his way out.
Reasonable.
So when they're trying to figure out who's invading, and we see Squirrel beating up a defender.
Aren't you guys like so late? You guys are so late.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
one thing they expect, like they do a search for what aliens are invading, and they say the Zarnians, which is Lobo from Superman.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, and Lobo.
Super good job, Cam. Good
Yeah,
reference.
Lobo is like the super pale, awesome.
Oh no, I know
Yeah,
Lobo.
no, he's the awesome villain
Yeah.
from Superman comics. Who's like super biker guy. He's
He
basically
had, in the books when I
Lobo
was
has
a
a
kid,
recent comic resurgence.
his books
Trent was
as a
reading
kid in the early 90s were
He's got
always
didn't he have a
in
big
the
fur?
mature
Is that
section.
him? Yeah.
So again, the thing about Lobo is like instead of him being the last surviving member of his race, he killed most of his race
Yeah.
to be that man.
Very anti-hero.
I love how he calls himself the main man. Like that's so not cool, but cool at the same time. I love Lobo. If they let Terrence Howard be Lobo,
Why would they let Terrence
because
Howard?
I'm the main man.
Oh, come on.
I love it. Oh, it's beautiful. Okay, so
I'm
again,
so fucking white right now.
great reference to Spider-Man, talking about how Jax would have all the powers of Spider-Man,
Yeah.
except all of them. He only be sticky.
So seriously, they don't have to pay any money to be able to,
To
say
say Spider-Man?
Well, again, it's like Weird Al doing parodies. I think if you're actually established as a parody
that? No,
of
that's
something
called
else,
satire.
yeah.
That's
But no, I think with satire you don't have to pay. In America, I really think
You don't.
Yeah.
But he also, maybe this was just him being a respectful artist. He never did a Prince song because Prince never signed off on it.
True, but they never
Well,
disrespected.
Coolio
Marvel
also
Comics.
said he was going to kill Weird Al for Amish Paradise, if you remember that.
But that's fair. But no, they never disrespected Marvel. They literally they bigged them up as great things.
Yeah.
And I told you guys about the priest and the
We
wedding.
have had a lot of talks about
You
that.
guys don't care. We talked a little bit about the mystery guest being Barry's daughter or granddaughter.
So is that going to come back, or is that just like a
It has
drop?
to come back. It can't not come back.
I think it's just a one-off.
You do?
I don't think
Really?
there's any kind of payoff.
Never?
For that.
Oh wow!
I feel like this CW
'Cause-
trap.
Because
No,
for
if
what?
it is,
In
if
what
it
way?
is a one-off, I love it so much more.
I hope they never
Yeah.
bring it back, because I will appreciate it more, because that means, hey, we respect the fans, we're just going to leave this here. And I feel like entirely too
Because
many...
you'd have to explain how,
Yep.
why she didn't know that the Nazis were going
I
to show
feel like
up. if she's from
the
future
most
or
successful
whatever.
shows right now are the ones that are like, hey, our fans are pretty fucking
Yeah,
smart,
that's
we're
not
just
come
going
over
to
the
let
head
them,
with,
you know?
Like, they'll figure it out. It'll be
Yeah.
all over message boards.
Which is
and
why The Walking Dead is so bad.
Wow. So, this was, I think, was the coolest moment. Travis, you as a Smallville guy, I picked this out specifically. So, right before Thawne is going to kill Felicity for basically messing up the code in the system, he tells her, like, we have Flash, we have the Legends,
Yeah.
we have Arrow. You specifically will not be remembered in history. Is the same thing that Brainiac said to Chloe in Smallville. Yeah.
But also, I took it because he didn't kill her because she was saved at the last moment. I took it as because she's
a fucking
IT.
She's
She's like.
See, I took it as, hey, this is how we're going to explain in universe why none of the comic readers have heard of this character, because we created her for the show.
We're actually Earth 6.
Yeah.
Exactly, like.
So I felt like that's... I didn't feel like it was so much an Easter egg as them being like, you know, clearly, if this character was that important, why have I not read about her in a comic or anything? Well, this is why.
Yeah, exactly.
History. We know that she's left out of history. We don't know why.
Yeah, but I don't think. Yeah, obviously because she didn't die, she's left out of history because she's not a.
I mean, she marries the Arrow. So something's got to happen, which is why she's going to die next year.
Travis, you established that Up, Up, and Away is a callback just to Superman in general.
Yeah.
Which is what Harry tells Supergirl, because Harry's also, Tom Cavanaugh, the actor, is also who tells the Flash, run, Barry, run.
Mm-hmm.
Because...
And his delivery of that line was so great.
He
was
great.
He was like, take her up, and away.
Yeah.
Like, it was
great.
so good.
And we talked about it earlier. Her falling after the explosion is almost like a shot-for-shot remake of Brandon Routh falling in Superman Returns.
So
your eyes are looking through the back of your skull right now, Travis.
I wear glasses. Oh, his. Yeah, he's a hater.
So
no, so one of the coolest things is Supergirl pulling up on
we didn't talk about that.
Yeah, because she was like, yo, let's box.
She was like, hey, Overgirl,
Yeah.
scared to step
But
outside.
She tells her, yeah, and
then
that's
Overgirl, Overgirl doesn't go, yes, let me use this hatch.
Yeah.
She just busts through the window.
Which, again, because it's a perfect callback to Superman calling out Zod in Superman 2. That's what it is.
Well,
let's do the glass, let's square up.
What I loved about that, too, was, like, when that happened, I was like, oh, that's kind of badass, but why? And then they do the whole, we have to get the shields down, and I was like, oh, okay.
That
it ties into the bigger
which is a
picture.
Star Trek thing.
Yeah.
Which is, no, your shields are up, so I can't attack you. Get the shields
That's
down.
That's just any outer space ship
Every
thing.
space thing, which Star Trek established. But okay.
Star Wars established it first, but we can...
Ain't no damn shield in Star Wars.
They're absolutely
Oh,
sure.
wait, Death Star has shields. Okay, I'll concede that.
Some other day, we'll have a fight about
So
that.
let's talk about the Great Escape.
I'm not going to disrespect Buck Ryan.
You don't have you have no clout in the Star anything commentary.
Star Wars was my entire life from a very young age.
Star Trek is still my entire life. So even if she's right, I'm right after her.
Well, if we want to
tell me what you like that has shields on it.
Tell me what you like that has shields on it. Again, another great line.
Well played. Okay, so look.
The Orville? Are we talking about stuff?
We're not. Don't clown that man for what he likes currently. It's only old stuff that's funny. Okay, so when they're all in cells, when they all got captured, Wells does a thing where he's banging.
What was that? And they're like, is that a ball?
That's from The Great Escape. That movie from early on about World War II.
I don't know.
That's where that's from. So yeah, that was a great pull about him bouncing the ball up against the wall. And he does it once you come up with the plan. Bless you.
Sorry, microphone.
The moment you wanted to reference, that's one of the best moments they have about Felicity and Iris going through the air ducts, basically being John McClane, and they even reference McClane. Them being resourceful is one of the best things about the era.
Those two women together, their relationships are so cool. Because, like, you wouldn't think, when they were like, okay, well, you're best man and you're maid of honor. Mm-hmm. Again, married human.
I feel like she's rubbing it in my face.
She's kind of establishing that she's married and we aren't.
No, I'm not, because the last time I was on your podcast, you were like, hey, you're a girl, you should probably not say that you're married, because guys like to think about that pussy.
There's a guy.
I was like, let me talk about my husband.
Did I say that? No, there's a guy who listens to this.
He did.
No, and it wasn't me. There was a guy who listened to this and said, look, you have a girl on your show, never say what her status is.
Her status is married as fuck. And also probably more knowledgeable about nerdy shit than you, so step.
That's going to negate the marriage. But keep going.
Oh, the marriage was based on the nerdy shit. He's a Lord of the Rings guy. Anyway.
I'm put a white people graphic right there.
You probably should. That's
in neon green.
Yeah.
Like that.
That's super legit. I'm not going to argue with that.
And no way you like that. Keep going.
Anyway, no, what I was going to say is, as a feminist, it is really... Are we whispering?
No, it's like 12:20.
Holy fucking shit. Oh. Anyway, it's really nice to see two women who aren't normally connected in that universe just have a moment when they're like, hey, we're going to be together and we're going to be badass, and it's not because we're going to cry about something, or I don't know. It's just, it was really cool to see them hooked up together, and then later on they're like, hey, we're going to be maid of honor, and we're going to be... We've just been through some shit, and it didn't have to be like, we're going to cry together. I don't know. I like that they respect women for just being able to go through some shit. And
women can also have a one-off. and keep going about their lives.
Yeah, they
and
don't have to have.
people.
They don't have to go like film them in the bathroom stall crying for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, the Ray.
No, we don't have to talk about that so much.
Mm-hmm.
Great seeing the Ray's powers, similar to Firestorm.
I didn't know him.
No, yeah, it's because he's an old character.
I think the Ray is better than Firestorm.
I love that the Ray's first name is Ray, and they made fun of that.
That was really funny.
Like, call back to
because
1940.
That was the best
Mr.
line Mr. Terrific had.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you should change your name.
Yeah,
And then he moved up.
He was like,
And he's like, your name is Terrific. Okay,
he's
what
like,
are you doing?
your name is like just your first name?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just your first name with the?
No, again, he's the Cisco of the Arrowverse. Like, he's that guy who... And again, Travis and I just did the Comic-Con circuit, so we got to sit through, like, Q&As and see how...
I thought you only sat in on, like, wrestling panels. That's all I saw.
He did the...
I did the Jason David Frank, which was super interesting. Like, the Green Ranger from Power Rangers. And I did some other stuff, too.
Did you ask him about how everyone
else died? I didn't ask him anything, ma'am, because that's not where I exist in this universe.
Okay.
But no, so it's interesting to see how these people respond to people they look up to.
So I want to ask you about this one.
Wait. Oh, no, you got it. Go ahead.
Vaughn, so I don't remember this happening. When did he say he met
it's such
Superman?
a one-off, and it's the most, maybe the biggest part of the whole universe.
I fought him in the future.
When he squared up with Supergirl, he's like, I fought your cousin in the future.
I missed that.
So it just lets
because she says, my cousin's not going to let you get away with this.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, your cousin. And that's when he goes into I fought him in the future.
I missed that.
And,
they've got to bring that back around, right?
So, no, even if they don't, it's so good.
Is that why they had to let Vaughn go? Because all that stuff?
Probably.
What if Superman eventually just punches him so hard he's gone?
I hope so.
Like,
Works
I love that she's from Earth 32, but it's all connected.
Yeah, that's the other thing is how has he fought him? He's in...
Because he does.
Well, he can...
Once. He's literally the knight of all this shit.
Vaughn can...
He moves any direction he kind of wants, and it's so good. Guys.
It's late as fuck.
No, not even that's late, but this was great. A 3-person panel talking about all this. You guys were great.
I was like, oh, we're going to go quick because we're not going to do scene by scene. Somehow.
Because there's
so much to cover.
Because somebody had a lot to get off their chest because they ain't been on a show in like 2 years.
I mean...
Guys, before we get out of here,
not my fault.
Before we let these guys go, anything you want to relay with them? Anything you want to share?
No.
Well, next week's Flash is the mid-season finale. He's kidnapped by DeVoe. I don't understand how there's not a buffer-ish episode between now and a big, gigantic mid-season finale.
And we got to talk about how he was like, I have this super mastermind to deal with, and then he opens the door and he's like, well, you're in a wheelchair. Clearly you must not be a...
Listen, that show airs on a Tuesday. We record on a Thursday. If we were to do a condensed episode on a Thursday, you're more than welcome.
I'm always down.
Yeah. Guys, this is a great day for me, personally. Professionally, it's been a great day. I had a promotion, and I had a 3-person panel. We got to do this together. You guys got to watch it live, so you get to see my pretty face. Everybody loves that. IG Live, Facebook Live, you know how that goes. I'm counting down to a super secret party that people don't know about. And the person whose party is for... No, the person whose party it's for, you'll never watch this.
Cool.
And there are people who are going who know about it. And it's so fun. But I thank you guys for watching, for being a part of this.
Thanks for letting me be a part of this.
No, we appreciate it.
Super fun.
It's been the South Congress Podcast Fan by Fan show for CW's The Flash. If you were watching this, we had to reschedule, but Monday night we will be at Hops and Heroes Comics on Cesar Chavez doing a live cast on Monday. It's going to be so fun. We'll be doing a South Congress Podcast next Thursday night. We'll be doing the Pro Wrestling Torch East Coast cast Wednesday night as a live stream. I am Cameron. I'm here with Travis, our special guest Dani.
Thanks for having me.
We're out. This is the point where I have to get up and turn the camera off.
That's super awkward.
No, not really, because they only hear it on the back end.